Woodward Sports, let's go!
Woodward Sports, let's go. Woodward Sports, let's go.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Woodward Sports Network, let's go!
Well, happy 5th of July. We're celebrating 4th of July, but it's the day after, Joey.
Tomorrow's my birthday. What?
Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show, best of 4th of July edition. Hopefully you had a great day celebrating your independence. And I got to shout out Bridge Street Exchange for my Party on a Pontoon shirt. And that's exactly what I'll be doing over the next course of the week. Yeah, man. I just got it yesterday.
Oh, that is amazing.
Yep. So thank you to my sister for going to Bridge Street and picking me up this shirt. So, Joey, we kind of wanted to go over just some best of clips over the past month and a half of what you may have missed on the Morning Woodward Show.
Yeah, Corey's still recovering, actually. He had the family barbecue I saw him at on Saturday. Man, Corey's family, they go crazy.
They do. They go hard. And you know who else goes hard for the city?
Who does?
Uncle Trick Trick. We got to say happy belated birthday to Trick Trick. We were lucky enough to have him stop by the studio, and this is how that interview went. The only reason we're allowed to have guests and the only reason we're allowed to do anything in the city of Detroit is because of this man that we have in here right now. Joey, I know you have some issues over this weekend that you wanted to talk about.
Hey, man, I was going to talk about that off the air.
Oh.
Yeah,
oh,
I could.
Yeah, dog. You see me watching. I said, this nigga better not sit up here.
Hey, we welcome Uncle Trick Trick to the studio.
Hey, what's happening, man?
How you feeling, man? You look good.
I'm blessed, man. I feel good. Minus this little back pain, but you know I'm good.
That's what happens when you meet me at the football field, Coach Trick.
You know what? Okay.
Hey, I'm saying that. Hey, let's keep this 20 feet away, man.
You know,
COVID, right?
You know the show go off at a certain time. You got to walk out the same doors I do, dog.
I was going to say, don't make me call Trick Trick on you, but I was like, damn, this is Trick Trick. I ain't got nobody else to call. You told me years ago, listen, nephew, if anybody ever messes with you, you call me. I can't call Trick Trick on Trick Trick.
You know what? You might can. I got split personality.
But you were out this weekend with Joik at his charity event, and you were coaching the celebrity football game. Joey said he scored a couple touchdowns. Did he actually score a couple touchdowns?
No. He dove for the ball a couple times. Wait, did you score once?
Okay, so the one on Joik, Coach.
The one.
He called him Coach now.
He was Coach.
Wait,
got to put some respect on that name.
No, he got Debo on you.
You see, my man with the dreads was y'all runner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was your boy, number 12.
Yeah, he was on your team.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that one, you remember when I caught the touchdown and you were running out on the field going, no, that ain't a touchdown?
Count. That didn't count.
Because we were playing two-hand touch football, but he hit one hand on me.
Yeah.
And then you guys just wanted to miraculously change up the rules.
No, I didn't change the rules. The referee enforced the.
That referee was on some bullshit, too. You know that.
He was high.
Nothing wrong with that.
Motherfucker.
Hey, one thing we all could agree on, though, is just thank you for what you do, man, for the community and the kids out there, everybody at Benton Harbor High School. Like, they were just looking up to everybody that was there. To say that Uncle Trick Trick is my coach.
It was beautiful. I love doing stuff like that, man, all the time. So, yeah, that was fun, man.
And you got a new album coming out?
I do. 1111 is his name. E-L-E-M-E-L-E-M. Now, 1111 is my way of saying 1111. But I'm not finna do all that. 1111. It just didn't work right. And I didn't want to put the double digits, the 1111 on the cover. It's like, Jay-Z did the 444 and somebody else did some more shit. And I was like, let me do it how I would say it. If I say 1111, I'm saying 1111. E-L-E-M.
1111.
So I'm going to do it my way. This whole album is about me doing it my way, not the industry way, not what people would expect, not the standard. So, it's all about going in the studio and being an artist and not being a record label slave or a record label flunky doing what they tell you. I am the record label, so I do what the fuck I want. You know what I mean? Record it how I want. Within my own time. My album actually comes out Monday, June 28th, which is my birthday.
Hey, happy birthday, man.
Thank you. So I decided I'm going to release the album on my birthday, and I talked to a couple people. Nobody's never released the album on Monday. I said, good. God damn it. Nah, it's when I release mine. I hate when people tell me what other people do and try to relate it to what I'm doing.
Yep.
Fuck them. I do what I want to do, how I want to do it, when I want to do it, the way I want to do it. I'm not a protocol motherfucker. You know what I mean? So this album is that for me. You know what I mean? It's how I wanted to record it, you know.
And you've kept your independence a lot in the music industry like that. And that's, I mean, honestly, like a lot of people don't know your behind the scenes work with like licensing music and production and stuff. And I see you got Ant Beats producing more stuff on this new one, Detroit versus Everybody. If you haven't heard that song, get out of the city, first of all. But second of all, go listen to it. But Ant Beats, he was on that one because I remember when that first dropped.
Ant Beats did the Twerk That Pop That record with me and Eminem and Royce.
Got it,
Yep. He did quite a few of my records. So. That's my nephew. That's actually my sister's son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you know, I've known since he was born.
So for real nephew.
So real nephew.
That's my little sister's son. So he patterned himself after his uncle, and he loved what I do and what me and my brothers do so much. It was natural that, you know, he went right into music and has become very successful at it since. So
I love how you call everybody else nephew, but your real nephew is your sister's son.
That's well, you know, nephew. That's my nephew. You know, that's my nephew.
So I know you're releasing this on your birthday, June 28th. So early happy birthday. Are we dropping it at 11 Lim?
No, we dropping it at midnight on the 27th at midnight.
Okay.
Because my record release party is the night before, so I want to bring my birthday in and the album dropping at the record release.
Oh, so it's a birthday party / album release?
Yes, it's the 27th at the L Club, so it's a VIP record release party / birthday. We're going to sing happy birthday. We're going to have a shot and we're going to get the fuck out of there because I got a picnic the next day, the Health Nick, brought to you by Fly Zone Radio and Beyond Meat and Snoop Dogg, Doghouse Records, Right Way Auto. We're doing a health nick, so it's all healthy food. It's, vegetables, fruit. Even the lemonade is made with alkaline water and agave. No,
man, you got bougie on us.
No, I got healthy.
Yeah.
I don't like all that bullshit in my body. You know what I mean? So you want to always, especially when you get in your 40s, you got to monitor that shit. You know what I mean? Be careful what you're putting in your system. So take care of your temple. So if I'm going to do a picnic, then it's got to be something healthy. I'm not going to feed the children because I want to do, my grandbabies came in town, so I want to do my birthday party where they can come. On my birthday, so they can come. So I made it kid oriented.
Family friendly.
So I got bounce houses, face paint, magicians. Bilal wouldn't let me bring my own animals. Bilal.
I'm a magician. Trick, I'll come out there if you need me to.
Please do. Yeah.
I'm just trying to get an invite. I don't know anything about magic.
Please, you all are invited. Please come. Yeah,
Have him come as the clown, man.
Please come to the record release party and the picnic. So
we're there both. You know that, Trick.
Most definitely.
Man, there's just so much to talk about. I haven't talked to you in like a couple years, I feel like. So like there's just so much to catch up on.
How was COVID for you? I mean, like you look at the music world, like the whole music industry, I feel like we haven't been dropping music like I thought they would be dropping music. How was it for you?
I worked through the whole thing. Like I hired since before COVID. So I made sure I kept people working and kept my employees working, and getting paid. So I built a school during COVID. I'm on 8 Mile in Van Dyke. I bought a building and built it out and did what I needed to do in there. Now I'm gonna put some students in there in the fall and teach them everything I know. So through it. Granted, towards the end of the shit, like about 3 months ago, I got sick, not resting, doing too damn much, around too many people, and I contracted the COVID, and but here go the shit. I knew I had it because I felt it. My test results came back negative.
Come on.
So I was like, okay, so we're going to record say I had a fucked up flu because the bitch had me down 3 weeks, and I missed 3 weeks of being productive, which is a no-no for me. So, but my body said, sit your ass down, don't do nothing else. I lost my appetite, I lost like 15 pounds. I didn't lose my smell and my taste, but it was, I'm gonna tell you some shit. I had a dream on one of the days, my sickest day, I had a dream that I was picking out my casket. I was telling my family what
Oh,
I
damn.
wanted them to put me in. And I snapped out of that dream because I'm one of the people that can activate in my own dreams. If some shit ain't right in my dream, I'm going to find a gun. Or I'm going to take off flying. Like, I know how to do this in my sleep. So when I realized in my dream, oh, fuck, I'm dreaming. I ain't picking out my casket. I got up and did a dab. You know what a dab is? It's pure, solventless THC.
Oh, like a real dad. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, Trick Trick just waking up like
some heavyweight
Get me out of
head
this. Get me out of this.
THC in a honey badger, and it went in. Oh my God! I was on the back porch coughing but it was coming out. You know what I mean? So I kept pushing this shit out, and it was my road to recovery. For another 2 days after that, I was back on my feet because I was man down for a minute.
Damn.
Yeah, but So, I mean, I did good moving around and traveling, and, I didn't limit myself because of COVID. I just put a fucking mask on, and keep, I was already funny about touching door handles and shaking hands with everybody and all that shit anyway before COVID. So, But, granted, we survived, and here we go. We got new music, new movies, new shit, and we back on track. So,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, we got.
It's good to see all these people with no mask on. I'm sick of that shit.
Yeah, it is nice, man. It's weird now that we've totally switched to where if somebody's wearing a mask, they look out of place. Like, I'm
But
glad
you
that's
still
the
doing
comfort
that
level.
shit on, right? I mean, but hey, do it to each his own. The same thing I say with the shot. You want to take that shit, go ahead. That's on you.
Right.
I'm not promoting it.
Man, Trick, I gotta ask you this. I know you big on sports. I know, Joy, I gotta beat you to the punch on this one.
Go ahead.
With the way Blake Griffin left Detroit and went to go play at Brooklyn, is he gonna be in the no-fly zone?
Personally, nephew, I wouldn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Them niggas rich. I don't give a fuck what they do. You know what I mean?
And he smashed Kendall Jenner.
And then when you
Dude's
figure,
really rich.
When you figure, like, he got a job to do, and he got to do it the way he want to do it. So you got to respect that shit. If he feel like he ain't getting what he need to get done where he at, by all means, get the fuck on. Go do it. You got to be great within yourself. Fuck what everybody else talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's like when they was tripping. LeBron left what? Cleveland? Was it Cleveland?
Yep.
He left Cleveland. Man, he's come back and buy a $20 million worth of scholarship a fucking year. Fuck him leaving. Leave him alone. Let him do what he do.
Yeah, you can say that directly
him
to
be
Stick, man.
great.
He's the #1 hater of LeBron
On
leaving.
the court, man. How many
Number
times I
one
gotta say he
hater.
does great things off the court? I said that all the time.
Number
Fuck,
one hater.
He's a cry little bitch on the court, man. I don't care what y'all say.
Hey, listen. This
Flopping
might
all
be
the time.
true.
Dude's huge and he's
Me?
flopping.
Yeah. This could be true. I had shit
It
to do.
is true.
So
It is true.
I can't keep up.
One of the things we've been talking about here is like every team that we've had that's been successful has had an identity. The bad boys, the going to work Pistons, the grind line, the Russian Five. For the Lions, we've never really had that. And when we were having this conversation, I forget who it was, but somebody put it in the chat that we need to have a no-fly zone secondary. So
For
that
the Lions?
yeah, so like take it back to where like we got to shut down corners, we got safeties that'll light your ass up over the middle.
Yeah, we gotta
Would
get
you be
back to-
okay with them adopting that if the Lions had a no-fly zone?
I need in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get back to the another one bites the dust.
There we go.
We got to get. The Lions just need. You know what the Lions need to do? Stop being pussycats and follow the lion order. Be
What's
a
the lion order?
The lion a lion does what the fuck he want to do. You know what I'm saying? A lion, he goes and he controls the situation. He takes control. He's the leader of the pack. You know what I mean? They have to be lions and stop being cats. You know what I mean? That's all. You gotta go out. You gotta feel that shit. You can see the lack of confidence in these guys' face. When you looking, it's like they're not sure about what they're doing. They need the right motivation. You know what I mean? And if I need to go in there and motivate their ass, give me a jersey, put me on the goddamn payroll, and let me go motivate these niggas.
I'm down.
It's interesting that he said that they look like they lack confidence because that is with the Lions. It's
Yeah.
interesting you said that because in his introductory press conference, that's what Aaron Glenn said about the Lions defense. It looked like they lacked confidence and didn't know what they were doing. So to hear you say that and one of the coaches say that,
Yeah.
right on the same path. And also, too, when he's talking about being a lion, it kind of sounded like he was describing Dan Campbell a little bit.
Honestly, imagine Trick with Dan Campbell.
Oh my God!
whoa,
Unstoppable force.
Hey, have you ever been a kneecap before?
What?
You ever bite a kneecap before?
Never.
You ever shot someone in the kneecap?
He was a cop. They shot him right in his fucking kneecap, bitch. Fuck him.
Hey, one thing I want to thank you too for is when you look at Detroit as compared to all these other cities when all those riots were happening, you stepped up big time. And you're like, listen, we ain't gonna take that in Detroit. And you see, obviously, with James Craig, our former Detroit police chief, the way that Detroit was compared to all these other major cities was bar none.
It had to be, situation presented itself. Somebody had to take control. And my mother always told me, you don't like it, do something about it. And I saw we was close. I had to walk up in a mob over 1,000 people in the middle, take the bullhorn and say, first one of y'all spray paint, break, tear anything up, I'm in the corners, I'm gonna beat your motherfucking ass. I'm gonna beat your motherfucking ass. If you want them problems, then let's go. You can go down there and think you finna wrestle with them police all you want. Each one of them niggas got 2 guns apiece. They ready for your shit. So go on your bad ass down with them rocks and sticks and them damn signs. I get your fucking point. I get the point. I'm with the point. But this shit, what are you doing? What is it doing? You banding together, you blocking traffic, you really stopping the civilians from being productive and moving. You ain't no fucking threat against no damn police department. Get your ass somewhere and be ready to vote within your local elections to make sure those type of pieces of shit that commit those actions against those unarmed brothers don't make it into the police department. And the chiefs and the governors and the mayors don't make it into those seats that would allow that type of behavior. This marching shit, this is some bullshit. Marching is supposed to be for marching. The original meaning of marching was we're not catching the bus. We're not going to spend no money with the city. We're not going to spend no money with the system that keep their boot on our fucking neck or their knee on our fucking neck. We're not fucking with that. When you hit them in the hip, that's when they feel it. This walking up and down the street blocking traffic don't do nothing but fuck with the rest of us. And if you don't want no smoke with them police, you don't. Y'all look like a bunch of Iraqi babies trying to fight them fools over there fighting in that shit. You know what I mean? As if you mob your ass down my goddamn block and leave your flag, I'm gonna hate you too. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have those problems in Detroit. For the most part, thank Chief James Craig for making sure his officers understood that there's consequences and repercussions behind those type of actions, and they will not be tolerated. You know what I mean? That way, we have a better understanding. A lot of the cops in Detroit, they live in Detroit. They understand Detroit. They move about Detroit. So you have to know your community. Community is people, business, government. You know what I mean? You need all 3 of those to work and be conducive with each other. They got to work together in order for it to be a solid community. You know what I mean? And if police don't have an understanding with the community or even know the community that they policing, this when you're going to get this type of shit, But yeah, we are, and that's us working together. We have to work together. The police ain't going nowhere. Defund the police. Okay, who the fuck you gonna call when they come bust your fucking door down, knock you across the head, and fuck your little sister?
Those same damn people are calling the police when they need them.
Don't defund the police. Put them motherfuckers in order. Get them in line. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's all of us. We all have to do that. So when I go walk in front of a mob of 1,000 and tell them, y'all better not touch nothing, I'm doing what it should have been 100 more of us out there doing that shit.
That was going to be my next question because we're obviously Detroit and you're as Detroit as it can get, man. Like, is there other cities and other people like you in other cities that like reached out to you or like, hey man, I saw how you handled that situation? Are there more leaders around the country like you? Is what I'm asking. There is? Okay.
Definitely in Los Angeles, definitely in Houston, Texas. There's a brother named Trey the Truth who is definitely the truth. In Los Angeles, there are various. Lots of brothers out there that are like me, who I actually take a lot of stuff from out their notebook, out their playbook. Big U was from Los Angeles, Crenshaw, Rolling 60s Crip. So, and this guy is the leader of all leaders. He come from the dark side, so he understand it. Now he on the light side doing all great positive things for the community, for the children. And I mean, when you see somebody with a reputation like that, that's very in line with my own, and you see the type of things that you do, it's very influential.
Right.
And it causes me to be better. It's not like we're trying to outdo each other, but it's good to be competitive in goodness. and doing great. So it's
Right.
like when you see, I'm motivated when I see Trader Truth giving away food or doing something. I'll be like, you know what? Let's do that, sweetie. You know, or you know how we go with Wish Upon a Teen and we go into hospitals and redecorate the rooms and just, you know, give, because receiving is not the problem no more. You know, so now it's all about who to give to, when to give, and, you know, how to make things better. And that motivation came from people in other cities. Yeah.
Man, that's awesome to hear because
I could've
there
been
needs
a
to be more men
motherfucker
like you,
for
just
a little
period.
bit longer.
You had your time.
I've always been about the righteousness and the right things for my city. And granted, it caused me to get a little violent sometimes to make my point understood, but that's because people wasn't listening. They don't listen when you say, hey guys, come on, hey, we want to calm that down. When you say, sit the fuck down, then they hear you. Then they hear you.
Then they listen.
And shut the fuck up. And now we get it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I won't lie, Trick. Like, this interview right now, just having you in here is literally giving me chills because I feel like these last, 16 months has just been straight bullshit.
Yeah.
And I haven't had no realism like something right now. Yeah. Because seeing you say all these things, it just makes me realize what these last few months really were.
Yeah.
And that we didn't miss a beat. You know, it's like we're going to get right back to the same Detroit that we once were.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Might have a new police chief right now, but it's still going to be the same trick, and it's going to be the same people still fighting and keeping the city moving because I'm proud of Detroit for the way that we handled this whole COVID because it wasn't something where we just stopped and then now we're going to get back to our life.
Yeah.
Like you said, you were keep working, you were giving
working.
jobs,
Yeah,
you were
keep
building
going.
schools.
Keep going.
Yeah,
Keep
I remember
going.
he had a, I believe it was on the west side of Detroit. You did something with Mary Sheffield and Zeke from New York, Detroit.
Yeah.
I was out there getting photos of that, and you preached the same message that you're preaching right now,
the
and
time.
follow through with it.
Yeah, keep going. You gotta focus is all about, you know, focus is all about seeing it. Action, you know, you gotta convince your mind, body, and soul collectively that we're going in this direction. It's gotta be in the direction of righteousness and what's best for you, number one, and then what's best for everybody else and your people, your family. You know, who wants to walk around frowning and being pissed off and upset and negative all day? You know what I mean? So you got to be in control of your energy and move towards. That's what greatness come from. A consistent focus. You know, a consistent drive. I remember my father called me one day and told me, "You putting something away for retirement?" I said, "Retirement from what, pops?" I'm retired. What? Do what am I? And then do what? Sit around and do nothing? This train is rolling until it's a wrap, until it's over with. And it's always gonna get bad. So it's always gonna be a reason for us to do better and for us to help others do better. You know what I mean? So yeah, you gotta put it in there and put it in here and keep. It's gotta be here. You know, you gotta feel that shit in your soul.
Right. Trick's like, man, when I was sick for those 3 weeks, that was all the retirement I needed.
Yeah, I don't like sitting down that long. I like one day a week, Saturday. That's my Sabbath day. Peace. I'm chilling on Saturday, you know, but when it get dark, showtime. You know what I mean? We get Friday night. I have a hard time shutting down Friday night, which is when my Sabbath actually starts.
Yeah.
But Saturday, I'm not doing nothing. I'm not cutting no grass. I ain't not cleaning up nothing. I'm chilling. You know what I mean? You got to give your, on the seventh day, the Most High rested. You know what I mean? So, and the Most High created man in the image of itself. It was a voice, a vibration that created all of this. We are the same things. You know what I'm saying? So when we speak into existence. If you follow the law of the Most High and move in any direction you want to go, guarantee you will be successful at what you're going for. It's a guarantee. It's science. It's mathematics. You're going to get there. You go that way, you're going to get there. You got to pee, what you got to do? Get them here towards the bathroom, right?
Right.
Or you're going to make a mistake. Suppose somebody want to interrupt you while you're on the way to your little emergency. You're going to tell them, hold the fuck on, I'll be right back. I'm going to talk to you in a minute. I got to go. This everything. When the bullshit come, hold on, I got something important I'm doing. I got to do this. I got to do this. It's a way of life. It's a way of life.
Philosopher.
Man, I just love that you represent this city because you mentioned things like soul and you mentioned things like honor and integrity and living the right way. And like, honestly, I've traveled around the country. I've lived in other cities, but that's something that Detroit has that not a lot of other places do, man. Like, there is an energy, there is a vibration, there is a soul to being from here. And whether it's we all just feed off each other in that way or whatever it is, or we're all looked at as underdogs because we live in this and, you know, literally Detroit versus everybody. Like, that didn't just get made up. Like, that is real, you know, because
That
nobody's
shit
here to
came
help
from
us.
no fly zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that came from me saying, hey, don't move.
Yep.
No, I ain't letting nothing else in here until we get to paying attention to our own. If we don't recognize what we have here, we done fuck everybody else. This us right here. We need to do this right here first. You take care of home first, right?
Always.
Yeah, you don't go spend all your money somewhere over the bitch house. You go take care of your goddamn bills. You're gonna be
And then if you got some extra
funds,
funds, then you do that.
Then you throw your bitch.
that's your business.
Here's some towels, bitch. Well, Trick man, we're out of time, but man, you are welcome back anytime. We could have this conversation go on for another 2 hours, and I'd be happy
Thank
with it.
you.
So,
11/11, 6/28, June 28th. My new album, 14 tracks featuring E40, Burner, Redman, and a whole lot of people from Detroit.
nice.
Yes,
You messed me up now because anytime it's going to be 11-11, I'm going to think in my head 11-11.
11/11. 11/11.
So make sure you look for that new album coming out. Trick, thank you for joining us
Thank you
today.
for having me, man.
Mikey, always good to have you in here. And shout out to 8 Mile Vodka and the Born in Detroit swag you got on right now. You got to represent. And Fish, we're not going to be able to get to your facts today, but save them for tomorrow. All right, buddy? All right.
Hey, Trick, you need a security, by the way, or you been straight?
Huh?
We got Fish if you need security.
You got fish.
He needs security?
No, you need
No, you
security. We
need-
got Fish.
Shit.
Dude's a sniper.
God
Absolutely.
bless you, Fish. I appreciate you, but I wish a motherfucker would.
Man, I love when Trick's in the studio and just what that guy does for the entire city of Detroit.
Like, honestly, how many cities got a goon like him?
Not
that have
many.
a whole squad behind him.
Right.
That can literally ban people from coming to their own city.
Yeah, well, you know, we asked him about that. Are there more of you? And he only could name like 2 names across the entire country. So we're very lucky to have Trick here in Detroit. And you know who else we're lucky to have?
Andrew Jonah.
Andrew Jonah. He's one of our rookie writers for WoodwardSports.com. Absolutely loves the Pistons, dives so deep, and he came to us
On the swim and dive team over up at Albion University, too.
Yeah, shout out to Albion, but he came to us with his top 10 mock draft now that we know the Pistons have the #1 overall pick. And who do you think he's got us taking at #1?
Man, I can't believe he went with Mo Wagner like that. No, Franz Wagner.
Yeah, well, I'd take Mo too. Go blue. Either way, here is the top 10 list coming at you for the Pistons and the NBA draft. The Pistons have the #1 overall draft pick coming up in the NBA draft, and that is just 4 weeks away. So that's going to be here before you. We're going to have a new Piston in less than a month, essentially. So we brought in one of our favorite writers here at WoodwardSports.com. His name is Andrew Jonah, and he came up with his mock top 10 of who's going to get drafted this year. And since it's Top 10 Tuesday, he has a mock top 10. We figure we bring him in. And here we are. Well, everybody, welcome Andrew Jonah.
Andrew!
What's up, everyone? How's it going?
Doing well. And we're going to work our way backwards, right? We're going to start at pick 10 and work our way all the way to #1 because that's the suspense, and that's where the Pistons are picking. So let's get it, man. Who is your number 10 overall pick?
So my number 10 pick will be Corey Kispert out of Gonzaga. He's a great shooter. Last year he was 44% from 3, 52.9% from the field goal range. He was the 7th most threes. He made the 7th most threes in the all NCAA. He reminds me a lot of Joe Harris. So the Pelicans, they really need a guy in there that can fill in that role for shooting. They lost J.J. Redick last year with that buyout and trade. So this is a great fit for him. It would be great for the Pelicans.
I like that pick, and we're showing some highlights right now of this dude's range, and it is pretty incredible how well this guy can shoot the ball.
He can shoot the ball very well. He's consistent. He can be a very consistent starter for them, which I love. They need a forward in there. They got Ingram and Lonzo at the point guards. We'll see what happens in Lonzo, but I really like this fit for the Pelicans, especially if they can pick it out to him. If Zion gets kind of trapped in that paint, he can shoot it, pass it right out to him. So,
and then that's the thing, Gonzaga in this NBA draft, I feel like is like Alabama in football. There's just so many good players that they've produced throughout this program that for him to be number 7 just shows how just dominant this team is.
Yeah, he's a very sleeper in this draft to be in the top 10. You know, there's a lot of guys in there that can even get in the top 10. So this can change daily. You know, they could also be in that sweepstakes or Damian Lillard, but we'll see what happens with them with that too.
Awesome. And moving on to the number 9 pick in this year's draft.
So my number 9 pick is Alperen Sengun from Turkey.
Yes.
So what's crazy is that he actually used to be a former swimmer like Tim Duncan. His parents really wanted him to get into swimming, but he loved basketball. He went pro at 16. He's been pro for about 3 years. He's 18 years old. Pistons Talk calls him Baby Jokic. That's a pick for the Kings that would be great for them. This is a pick that can get them over that hump to the playoffs. And don't be surprised, I have sources that they might be in that Ben Simmons sweepstakes too with trading that pick. So don't be surprised if the Kings decided, hey, we want to move this pick and get someone else in our team. So
Can we go back to you saying you have sources? Where do you get sources, bro?
Hey, he was. I won't spill your beans, but he was on some big calls last week. I walked in.
Pistons Talk knows a guy who works for the Kings, and he was telling me that they're thinking about Ben Simmons. They also like Scotty Barnes a lot. So don't be. And Orlando's got 2 picks in the top 10. So don't be surprised. Hey, if they really like Scotty Barnes, they can try and move it up to that 5th pick to get him right there.
That's a good one. I mean, they got the 5 and 8 picks. So
yeah, you pair this kid with Halliburton, you got yourself a nice little backcourt. All right, moving on to number 8 in our mock draft for the NBA, and obviously that is coming up on the 28th? 29th, so literally a month from today.
A month from today.
Awesome. Man, we got to get our draft party planned like ASAP. All right, who we got coming in at number 8 on your mock draft?
I have Devin Mitchell out of Baylor. He reminds you a lot of Drew Holiday, Donovan Mitchell type. He's a great lockdown defender. He has great handles. He is 60% down in the paint, so he's not so much of a scorer. He's also a great three-point shooter, 44.1% from three-point range. He could be a great fit for this Magic team as they're getting young and developed. They have Cole Anthony on their team. They got a lot of young pieces in there, so he'll be a great fit with this young team.
Nice.
Yeah, he looks good, man. He really looks like a solid player. When I started watching some of these guys that you put in your top 10, I thought there was this huge drop-off after 5, and a lot of these top 10 guys are going to be ballers, too, in the NBA.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this draft, there is about 4, 5, 6 guys I could put in my top 10, which is crazy. It's changing daily with these combines. We're going to have workouts soon. So as we get along and seeing, what teams like, then we'll kind of know where they want to draft at the end of the day towards the draft. Or we can see trade of picks, which comes up to my next pick.
Who we got at number, what is it, 6? 7? Who we got at number 7?
Number 7, I have one of the sleepers in this draft. Pistons Talk loves this player.
Yes.
James Bouknight. This is Troy Weaver's guy. I made a trade last year in a trade machine. I love Jeremy Grant. He's a great player for us, but he's got the most trade value right now. Don't be surprised if the Pistons, they can be making that switch, maybe to move up this, maybe move Jeremy Grant, and we get Andrew Wiggins in that 7th pick. That trade works out beautifully for both teams. The Warriors, they're looking at trade that pick. Yesterday, sources were telling me that they want Pascal Siakam as a player they could looking at to trade that pick. So this is a pick that probably might be moved on draft night, but James Bouknight, great ball handling skills, interior defense. He's great athleticism. A lot of people are calling him possibly the next Damian Lillard of our generation, which is crazy to think.
Dude could shoot the lights out, man.
He can shoot, and he can take over games for UConn last year. So don't be surprised there if he gets picked in the top 10.
All right, moving on to number 6 on Andrew Jonah from WoodwardSports.com mock draft. Who do we got?
Number 6, I got Jonathan Kuminga. So he did not go to college. He went to the NBA G League with Jalen Green. He played alongside Jalen Green. He's not the greatest shooter, he's not the greatest shooter and offensive player, but he can defend. He's one of the most elite defenders in this draft. He can defend from the center position all the way on the point guards. He's one of those guys that is like a Draymond Green. He's not going to produce you 25 points, but he'll lock down defenders like there's no tomorrow.
And I love his name, Kuminga.
I love that.
It's just like a cartoon character. Kuminga! All right, now we're moving into the top 10 or top 5.
Top 5. Scotty Barnes,
yes.
Florida State to the Magic. This is a player, again, he's not the greatest shooter. He needs to work on his jump shot a lot. He's only 29% from 3, but the guy can a great defender, again. On-ball and offensive defense, off-ball defense, hustle down the field, and a great rebounder, too.
Yeah, he could potentially go in the top 2 or 3 as well. I mean, it really depends on what teams are looking for and where they need to draft. But this is the part of it where these top 5 guys, and this is what Troy Weaver said after we got the number 1 overall pick. He's like, really, I'm evaluating 5 guys right now, and those are going to be the keys to who I'm going to pick moving forward. And you brought up Bouknight earlier, and we were talking in the back yesterday. One of the things that Troy Weaver may do is use the the assets that he has, because we got, like 19 second-round picks. We got a couple first-round picks in the future that he could trade and move back into this top 10 and steal a Book Knight as well. So if we see that happening from Troy Weaver, I mean, this guy's already proven to be a wizard on draft day. And doesn't give a shit about really second or anything past first-round picks.
What do you have to offer him? That is all he cares about.
Right.
I mean, they can move up in this draft. I think the Pistons are one of those teams that you're going to see a lot of possible movement. Again, I think this is going to draft where we see either a lot of movement or no movement. The teams are going to decide, hey, I want to draft this player. So this is a draft where we're going to see a lot of different mock drafts throughout the week. And as we get closer, we're going to kind of know exactly what teams are looking for. And you never know what's going to happen on this draft night. This is going to be a wild, wild draft night, I think. You never have seen.
Yeah, well, I mean, if last year was any indication of what Troy Weaver has planned for this year, like he was moving, because we did our draft watch party, and it was like, all right, after 7, I think we did through the 10th pick, and we were like, all right, that's cool. And then immediately after that, trade has been announced. The Pistons, now have the 16, now have the 18, and you're like, what the hell is going on? Should we go back live and all that?
We ended up being here a lot longer than we thought.
Yeah, this year we're giving him the full first round because we never know what Troy Weaver's going to do. He got us last year.
He's a great GM. A lot of those people are like, what is he doing? He's training all these great players. I mean, Luke Kennard, he got rid of Bruce Brown. But you know what? At the end of the day, it is working out great for this team. And you know what? It's all paying off in the day for this Pistons team. We're finally getting to that #1 pick, so it's awesome to see that.
Yeah, love it, man. And Troy Weaver has all of our trust. He's absolutely earned it. Andrew Jonah is here going over his mock top 10 for the NBA draft. Jeff, why don't you scroll the comments, look for fish comments, and pull a winner, and we'll get to that right after we get to the #1 draft pick. So we're up into the top 5. We're at number 4 now. This is where things get all jumbled up, man, because these top guys are pretty much interchangeable, and the way you evaluate them against each other is really going to be interesting.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be very interesting what happens in this draft. Again, we just don't know what's going to happen. And this is where I think the draft gets very interesting with these top 4 picks. It can go any way with these top 4, really. Everyone says Kate's a potential #1 pick, There's a lot of people saying maybe not, so we'll see what happens. And these guys are very close together, and this was a very tough decision for me as I make my mock drafts. So here we go.
Yeah, let's see who we got at number 4.
Number 4, I got Jalen Suggs out of Gonzaga.
Okay.
I think he's going 4. I think Kyle Lowry is going to move. I think he's going to end up going with Philly at the end of the day to play with Joel Embiid. If they trade Ben Simmons, he's going to be a free agent, and he's always wanted to play in his hometown. Again, Suggs, he has a great feel for the game, athleticism, great on-ball defense, and he's very athletic. He can take over games. We saw that in the semis of the national championship. He can take over games if there's no tomorrow. He can make clutch shots. This is be a great fit for Van VanVleet. They can be in the next maybe dynamic duo in Raptors history, maybe in the next DeMar and Kyle Lowry.
You know how there's just some guys that like fit the team that they're going to?
Yeah.
Like I can see Suggs in a Raptors jersey.
Yeah.
I love him in Toronto, and I think he can really bring this team back into that maybe that play-in or even that playoff spot. They're going to be probably playing back in Toronto, which is going to be huge for them. And their fan bases, they love their players. So I think they're going to have a great love for Suggs when he gets there.
This could be one of those teams that the Pistons even talk with, because I know that they're interested in finding that big man, and Mobley's not going to be on the board anymore at this point.
No.
So it could be a trade right here with this one.
Yeah, there could be a trade. They could look like a trade in this pick, maybe get some assets, maybe get another player if they really want to complement this team. I mean, they need a big man, so we'll see what happens if Mobley's available, which he's not after this pick.
Now, in your personal opinion, do you have Suggs as the 4th overall talent on this list, or do you just think by happenstance he's going to be picked 4th?
By happenstance, I think he's going to get picked 4th. I think he could possibly get 3rd maybe, but it's really what Cleveland – I made this draft based off the needs of each team. So this is a need that the Raptors need, especially if Kyle Lowry is out and they know, hey, I'm moving on from you, which will kind of have an indication of that if he opts out or not. So
all right,
we'll see.
Love it. No, honestly, like when you said that, I literally can see him in a Raptors uniform, and it makes sense in my brain.
I think it would be great for the Raptors, and I think he can be that player that can be a big difference maker to get this team back in the playoffs and be maybe in contention for that, that mid-tier team in the Eastern Conference, because that Eastern Conference next year is going to be brutal.
Yeah.
It's going to be brutal to get into that 5 through 8. I think it's going to be nuts.
All right, well, let's move on. Number 3
So
on Andrew Jonah's mock draft.
Number 3, I got Evan Mobley out of USC.
Okay.
This is what they're calling the next Chris Bosh. Great length with the arms, great shot blocker. You know, he got 3 blocks per game, but only committed about 1.8 fouls per game, which is kind of crazy for a big man like that.
That is wild.
I think it would be a great fit for them. They don't need a guard. It's a very guard-heavy draft. I feel like they need a center or a power forward to complement Sexton and Darius Garland. So this could be a perfect fit. And the Cavs last year, they were on a great start of the season last year until a couple injuries. So don't be surprised if they get Mobley. They might make the playoffs next year, too. Don't be surprised. They were in that 5th seed for a lot of the season until the end of the season.
I don't know, man. He's got big shoes to make up taking over for Andre Drummond in Cleveland.
Andrew, how do you think that's going to affect them with the rumors of the Cavs thinking about moving Sexton?
You know, that's very interesting. I heard about that a little bit too, but you know, I think they really need to go big on this draft. I think Darius Garland's great. They could move Sexton and maybe move that pick, but I really like Mobley with this team. I think this is a pick they need. They keep going guard heavy every year, and I feel like it's time for them to get someone big. And I think if they do, if Jalen Suggs or if Jalen Green's on the table, I could see them just taking him if Mobley ends up going second to the Rockets. So I really, really like, no matter what, if Mobley's on the table for them, I think they should go with Mobley at the end of the day.
Yeah. Mobley seems like the only legitimate big man in this entire draft.
Yeah.
He's just athletic as heck, too, man. When you see him
that's
on
the
the
evolution.
defense,
He is the number 1 consensus of the big mans. He's the best big man in this draft. This is a very, again, guard-heavy draft. It's all shooting guards or point guards. You know, this could be a draft where we see maybe mostly guards and just him in the top 10, which is kind of crazy to think about that. So I love Mobley in Cleveland. I think he's the best fit for them in this team.
Awesome. Well, number 2 on this list, man. This kind of dictates who's going to be at number 1 as well.
So number 2, I have Jalen Green right now.
All right.
I have Jalen Green, but I know Troy Weaver loves Jalen Green.
That's what I heard too.
He loves him. And you know, the Pistons
He's tricking him.
The Pistons like him. You know, there is rumors too that they could pick him as number 1. And Jalen, I think Caden Cunningham, that would be a huge, we'll see what happens, but Jalen Green is, I think, the next Zach LaVine. He's probably the most athletic player in this draft.
Pass.
Oh, great passer. He can lob passes, and he's
mean with his dunks.
He's mean, and he's fast. He's very fast on the transitions. Again, the Rockets are those teams who, they lost everyone last year. Look how bad they were last year. So they really need some spark in this organization. And, you know, this is a player that could end up being like a Zach LaVine type, Russell Westbrook mentality. I love Jalen Green. And it's not a bad pick for the Rockets. There are rumors that they're really liking Mobley a lot better than Green. But for this team and this fit, I really like Jalen Green on this team.
Yeah, and our boy Pistons Talk has been high on Jalen Green for a long time.
Yeah.
I remember we had him on a couple months ago because we were debating Jalen Suggs or Jalen Green, just the battle of the Jalens. And he was like, Jalen Green is just a freak of an athlete.
I also like, too, that Green has that G League rub, too, as well. That's a good, that's higher
pro
for me.
talk.
Yeah, he's going to have a little bit more advantage, I think. I think a lot of the other players, even Kuminga is going to have more advantage. A lot of these players, they went pro last year in that G League bubble. So
that Ignite squad, man.
They were good. They made it far. I think they made it to the semis of that playoffs, which is kind of crazy. They made it pretty far of being
they got
just
2 of the top 5 players on the team.
And they also got a lot of high school. It's a lot of kids out of high school. So don't be surprised if you see that team take the Rockets.
I'm excited that we have a G League team here in Detroit now. Obviously, if you haven't heard, the Motor City Cruise is here, and they're going to be playing down at Wayne State. They got a whole new facility down there, and that's what's cool because eventually these guys are going to be in our pipeline. Because I love how baseball has the minor league system. Football does not. I think they should. They do not. Basketball, they need this. They need the G League.
I think with basketball and the G League, that's going to end up kind of putting a real dent in college sports.
Oh, for sure.
College basketball.
Sure.
And then over the next 5 years, the G League is going to be the thing. Kids going to straight up leave high school and go straight to the G League. Makes sense.
Well, if they keep making stupid rules, then let these people, There's got to be an outlet for somebody who doesn't want to go to college. Like, and it's even like in regular life. Like, if I don't want to pursue a college degree, I could still go to a trade school like Northwestern Tech and still get a good job.
Nice plug.
It is a plug, but it's also the truth. Like,
Yeah,
it's a
it
natural
is.
plug because
you know
you
what
don't
you're
always
doing.
have to go get your 4-year degree. You can take this route as well and still be successful.
And also, too, it's like a waste of time. I'm going to go to college for 1 year, not go to any classes, just so I can just go ahead and then fulfill this requirement.
Right.
Dude, they don't even give a shit about school at Oakland University for the basketball players. I could only imagine at these really big universities how they treat school. So they're not there for school. We know what they're there for.
They're taking stuff like gym and yoga.
Yeah. I mean, the G League's one of those things I think it's going to be growing as the years go by. We have we talked about that Overtown League that I think Drake that's creating it?
Yeah.
And that's going to be a league that's going to be popular, you know.
What's Drake doing?
I think Drake's creating some type of league with
overtime.
Overtime league.
Oh, that's
and
smart.
a lot of players have opted. You get like $100,000. How much money you get? Like,
Yeah, I can look into it,
it's more
but they
than
have a
college,
lot of,
whatever.
they
it's
have a
more
lot
than
of
college.
people investing into that league.
And
though.
also, there's a reason why I think Amani Bates he dropped out of.
He started his own academy
He
on
started his
his
own high school.
Yeah.
He dropped out of high school. Was like, I want my own
he
high school.
decommitted from Michigan State. There's also talks. I mean, the collective bargaining coming up, they can move that age where high school kids can come right to the NBA and maybe just start off in their G League program and make it like a minor league system, which would be great. I think it'd be great for basketball. It'd be great for the G League.
All right, well, that brings us to our number 1 pick.
Oof.
And if you say Franz Wagner, I'm going to throw something at you.
I am not going to say Franz Wagner. Number 1, it's easy. Kate Cunningham. You know, this is a consensus number 1 pick. Yesterday, Jerry Jones's, I think, son-in-law or friend, he said that Cade, he's friends with Cade. He's like, oh yeah, he's the next Jordan. He's the next Kobe. He's got that mom mentality, you know. This is like a great comparison to him. He's like a mini Luka, as they call him. You know, he's a little bit bigger than Luka, but he's got that strength. You know, I also saw a report that he's a little bit like Shows Alexander, but is a shorter and is Ben Simmons, but with an actual jump shot. He could take over games. You know, he was 41% from free last year, 20 points per game. You know, he had that monster 40-point game with Oklahoma State. You know, he can just take over games. When was the last time the Pistons really had that guy they can look over at the end of games? I can't.
We haven't had one since 2008, honestly.
It's been crazy to think about that. So this is a great player for this young and rising team, and I'm excited. We'll see what happens, but you never know with Troy Weaver.
And I like what Eric Johnson just said about Cade Cunningham. Cade was the consensus number 1 pick across the board until the moment the Pistons got the number 1 pick. Now it's, should Cade Cunningham be number 1? I'm like, come on. Really? We're doing this? Nobody wants the Pistons to have
But honestly, in your talent evaluation, is Cade Cunningham that far above the rest of the field?
I think he's very far above, but it's a lot closer than people think. You know, Jalen Green thinks right behind him as number 2, but Cade, I mean, because I think I see a lot of Russell Westbrook, Zach LaVine mentality in Jalen Green, but again, Cade, I mean, everyone loves the way Luka plays, and I think that's why people lean towards Cunningham's number 1, because he plays that Luka type basketball where he can just take over, just give him the ball and just take over the games. So
right. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for coming in with your mock top 10, and you have the whole first round mocked out too, don't you?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet. I'm probably working on that this week.
Awesome.
But this draft, I mean, you look at every mock draft, you can see a player that's going to the second round, and I see him going to the first round. I mean, this is just a loaded draft with lots of talent.
Let me ask you one question, Andrew. What do you want the Pistons to do? What would make you happy?
I think they should take Cade and look for another player to draft. I think that's a key. This is a great time. Pistons have a lot of movement in this draft, a lot of other picks in the future. Go all in. This is a great draft to go all in. You know, I think next year's draft is going to be a little more weaker, but this is a draft where if you want to go all in and Troy Weaver does his thing, let him do his thing. I love what he's doing in this team and this organization. If you want to make moves, go for it. But I think at the end of the day, the city, I think they need this number 1 pick, and I think people will go crazy.
What's crazy to me is because Troy hit on 3 players last year. I mean, Kalen is still a question mark, but we believe in Kalen, right?
Yes.
So hitting Killian Hayes, sorry. I was thinking Kalen
But
Lucas.
still, I mean, right. I mean, you look at it,
what up, though?
2 all-rookie team.
Right. And that wasn't even our 7th overall pick. Those were the guys later. So what he did by speeding up this growth process, by hitting on all 3 of those guys last year, really puts us in a unique position this year. Because if we only got one player last year, one piece, we'd be looking at, oh, okay, well, we'll add another piece this year, maybe another piece next year. This year, if you're saying what I think you're saying is that, hey, we're going to get the number 1, and there's potential for us to double down, get back into that top 10, and get a boot night, all of a sudden, in the course of 2 years, you have 5 valuable starters at rookie contracts.
Exactly. And you know what? Don't be surprised. The Warriors, they have that 14th pick too. I mean, they might trade that pick too. And if you're the Pistons, hey, maybe I'm going to go on the 14 and maybe a Book Knight's down there still. Or even like a Moses Moody, who's a great three-point shooter down there. So, I mean, these are players that the Pistons will be looking at. And I think this is a draft where, again, we're going to see either a lot of movement or no movement.
Okay. Well, I love it, man. Thanks for coming on with your insight. Corey, I cut you off there. Did you have something you wanted to say?
I was just going to say, how crazy do you think this city would go if Troy traded out of number 1?
I think people will go nuts. I think people, and I think there's a lot of pressure about that because we all believe in Troy, and
but not that much.
And not. I mean, Troy. He was the one who wanted to draft Russell Westbrook. No one else wanted to draft Russell Westbrook in that room, and he didn't. He took a risk on him. And, this city, a lot of people who they are fans of the Pistons or just casual, I think they would go even more crazy because they don't understand the growth and the trust that a lot of true Pistons fans have in Weaver. So, I mean, this is a pick that you cannot, first of all, you can't screw up on.
Right.
You can't screw this pick up because this is the first number pick, since 1971, 1970?
1970.
Since Bob
Lanier, baby.
And this is a pick I really think they got to go big. And they should just draft number 1 and then work your way down. There's a lot of other players that you can see in this draft that end up being stars in the bottom half where you get to that 5 through 30 mark. Any one of those guys can be really good on your team.
Awesome.
I think they need to go like Vinny said last week, draft Cade Cunningham and figure it out later.
Yep, that's it. Take the best player and move on. Don't overthink this. I think is the main thing. So thank you, Andrew Jonah, for coming on. If you want to read his articles, just go to woodwardsports.com. We have tons of great content contributors that write great articles, insightful stuff. As you see, Andrew knows his stuff. He literally came in with a pamphlet of information today to share with us. So thank you for coming on and sharing your top 10 with us, man.
No problem. Anytime, guys.
So there it is, man. Cade Cunningham coming home to Detroit.
This ain't home for Detroit for him.
It isn't?
No, I don't think
it
so.
will be soon.
It's about to be his home.
Yeah.
Now.
Welcome to the city, Cade. Even though we're still 23 days away from the official NBA draft, it's all right. Cade Cunningham gonna be a Piston. I think that's a proper mock draft right there.
It's so weird being this excited for an NBA draft because normally we're so excited for the lottery, we get screwed, then we don't care about the draft at all.
Yep. Well, you know who else is excited for the draft? Vincent Goodwill. He's a writer for Yahoo Sports and Corey's good friend. He was coming in, and I love this dude's take on everything almost.
Honestly, he's one of those writers, and it's really cool that he's from Detroit, and he's really made it to being one of the biggest NBA media members because I see why. You see so much talent. Just from following him on Twitter, you really get to see more about him.
Yeah, so this is the best of the Morning Woodward show. July 5th, we're celebrating July 4th here at Woodward
Happy
Sports.
Happy 5th of July.
Yeah, so everybody's got Cinco de July. Everybody's got the day off today, so hope you're enjoying the best of. Here's our interview with Yahoo Sports writer Vincent Goodwill.
Yeah, somebody who I've known for a long time and who has, just like Rob, has kept their foot in my butt for a long time, but really, really great guy. Helped me out with so much. We have Yahoo senior NBA writer Vince Goodwill in the building.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
What's up, Vince? How you doing, man?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Can hear you just fine.
Man, we hear you, we see you, we got everything.
Welcome.
Welcome.
So, yeah, man, I mean, I guess the first thing we got to ask you about is Pistons getting that number 1 overall pick. It's still a celebration around here.
Can we? I'm glad we can retire the whole "we never get lucky." The league hates us. The league hates Detroit type of thing. But now you got to make the pick, right?
Right. Yeah. Now it's on us. Now it's on us. And are you thinking pretty much in line with everybody else that Cade Cunningham is that dude, and if we don't take him, we're kind of fooling ourselves?
Nah, I'm not. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't go that far. I know some people are fans of Jalen Green.
Yes.
But the problem is we don't remember who watches the G League in the same way that you would watch college basketball.
Yes.
But this year was so odd, completely. I don't blame Jalen Green for not going to college. if I had the choice of jumping straight into my profession without having to go to college. No, man, I'd say no. I think I'll still go. That campus life, sometimes that can be fun. But
honestly, I would definitely yes, I get it. You're making money in the G League, but that campus life of wherever he would have gone to go play college ball, he would have been the man on that campus.
You know how many girls G League guys get picking them up in middle Iowa?
As many girls as we get, damn it.
No, but I think for once the Pistons are in this advantageous position. You look at the teams that are playing now, you can see a blueprint to get in there without having to say, okay, let's just wait till free agency. Let's just, we have no hope. Kevin Durant, LeBron. Now you can see a pathway because this league is sort of changing.
Yeah, I love it, man. You're right, though. It is on us. And honestly, before we got the #1 pick, I said that's the one thing that kind of scares me. Because if you're 3 or 4, it's like, all right, that guy fell to me. I really had no options. Now we're back, and I hate to bring up the Darko situation, but we're back in that to where we take this guy, and then the 3 guys right behind him will be successful. So, I mean, Troy Weaver's already gained my trust with what he did last year. So cashing in on 3 first-round picks to make them all contribute right away. I have faith in Troy Weaver, but it's a lot of pressure picking --
Scared money don't make money, man.
Yeah, I like that.
This ain't 20 years ago.
Okay.
This isn't Darko being some unknown, and there was a lot of things that went behind Darko being drafted, and Joe Dumars being a younger executive at the time. I'm 36. He was probably around my age when he made that pick. He was closer to the players of that day than he was to the players coming in. So, but Troy Weaver's been around for a long time. He's been an assistant GM. You've seen what he's done just with the little bit of, leeway that he's had when he came in. He drafted Russell Westbrook. He pushed for Oklahoma City to draft him. That was a push. Russell Westbrook was like a second guard at UCLA playing behind Darren Collison. You know what I mean?
God.
Like
he was so explosive, though, man.
But he had to see something in those guys that other people didn't. And I like Weave's vision, and I think that they're going in the right direction. I love Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham reminds me of Grant Hill. That may be a little bit before people's time because people may only remember Grant Hill being hurt or being somewhere else.
Right.
But when Grant Hill first got here, he was a supernova.
Yes.
And he was smooth, and Cade Cunningham sort of puts me in that mode where people are saying, well, maybe he's not as aggressive as he should be and stuff like that. I'm like, people said the sort of the same things about Grant Hill at Duke, and you look up and he's got close to triple-double numbers. So if they get this right, we could have some meaningful basketball around here sooner rather than later. And I can't believe I'm actually saying that out loud.
Isn't that so weird? Isn't that a weird feeling?
Now, I do got to ask you this. There's been, like you just mentioned, there's been a lot of talk about looking at Jalen Green. Do you see the Pistons staying pat and taking Green #1, or because Cade is the consensus #1, or do you see them trading back a spot or two and getting Green if they're high on him?
You got to have – Green is so high on the board that you would have to find a team that wants Cade Cunningham above anything else and is willing to give you something of substance to move up a couple of spots. Like there was a couple years ago, Jason Tatum should have been the #1 pick, and Philadelphia didn't want to take him. They took Markelle Fultz. So Boston said, all right, we want Jason Tatum, and we know you don't. So you'll give us an extra first-round pick. We'll slide down from 1 to 3. We'll still get our player, and we'll get a future asset. Do you want to take that chance if you're the Pistons? I don't know. I think you take the guy. But you tell all these other teams, if you want him, then you're going to have to come and get him. We're not going to give away the first pick. You're going to have to give us, the Herschel Walker package or something like that. Players and picks. Like I'm about setting the value high and getting a lot. But if Cade Cunningham's a superstar, then there isn't really anything that you should be giving up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. They're saying that he's the #1 guy, and then the tier below him is just that. It's a very close to him. He's great. They're very good in that next 3 to 4 players with Mobley and then the Jalens.
I mean, the people I've talked to over the past few days have been like, there's a first tier, and it's not Cunningham, then everybody else. It's Cunningham, Green, Mobley, and then Jalen Suggs, and there's some people who put Jalen Suggs in that #1 category. So this is going to be one of these drafts that we're going to be talking about for years on end. You just hope you're going to be on the right side of history. And once again,
God, I hope
it's
so.
a crapshoot.
Right.
What I love most, though, is until July 29th when this NBA draft goes down, everybody got to talk about the Detroit Pistons. And that's the best feeling in the world.
they're a national story now. You know what I mean? In a way that they haven't been, like they haven't won a playoff game since 2008. That just it was like a hush just went over the room. Like y'all remember what y'all doing in 2008?
I was at that last playoff game they won. I was interning.
and at that time, were you like, man, this is going to be the last playoff win for 13 years?
I didn't think that was the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
They were against Boston. I didn't think like, oh, okay, this is where it's all about to break apart. Then next season, it all broke apart.
This tweet came through last night in our content chat that we have here for the Woodward Sports Network, and it's from John Henry Smith. It says, no inside info here, just reading some tea leaves. The Pistons' Troy Weaver reportedly really likes, is it Bouknight? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Bouknight.
Bouknight?
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? He's not taking him to cover over Cade at number 1, but we saw how Weaver moved around the board last year. He has some assets to play with, and it wouldn't shock me. Do you think the Pistons are going to trade back up again into the first round and get another first-round pick this year?
I think they had so much work to do last year that you saw an extreme level of activity, along with last year not being a good draft.
Right.
Like going into last year, those draft picks didn't have a whole lot of value. So you could get a Sadiq Bey at 18, and you can get an Isaiah Stewart a little bit later. I remember doing some stuff for Yahoo, and people were texting me like, what is Troy Weaver doing? And I'm like, well, apparently he thinks his players aren't very good, so it's better to get some young players on some rookie contracts, take some flyers, and see what happens. So, but I think this year's draft is going to be a little bit more valued, you know, even after the top 5. So I'm not sure if people are going to be so, you know, want to just trade those picks, along with the fact that that's cost control. You know what I mean? That's cost control for 3 or 4 years where salaries are skyrocketing. You see Ben Simmons making $40 million a year and can't shoot, won't shoot. So
one-way player.
You know what I mean? So
nice pass, though, he had, though. Nice pass.
That was a good attempted assist.
So you have to be careful about trying to do too much. I think some of the hard work with the draft was done last year. Now I think you're to the point where you don't want to have 5 or 6 guys on your team that are in their first or second year, because how can you devote time to player development? How can you give them the space to grow?
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to give Sadiq Bey runway. You got to give Cade Cunningham runway. Killian Hayes, if he's still, you know what I'm saying, if he's still part of your future, you get these guys to the point where they're in so much competition with each other. Yeah, survival of the fittest, but at the same time, you're not figuring out who's doing what, and it's almost a waste of your time and assets.
Man, I love how Pistons went from being like topic C or topic D to like, we could talk about them now and like really have good, interesting conversations, not just like, well, we think they're going to be okay next year. Now it's like, holy shit, we have all these options, and the future is bright for them. We're asking some questions, too, that they want to know your opinion on Sekou. What do you think about Sekou? You have a pulse on him and what he means, and is that project ever going to come to fruition?
Far be it for me to say, as somebody who gained weight over quarantine, he's a little too old to have baby fat. But no, I think he's talented. I think people saw the flashes, was that a year and a half ago, and then the season stopped. It's okay to have a guy like that on your roster that you have to wait on, as long as you don't have to like pay him. Because if you're paying him, then you're saying, okay, now we're expecting something from you. He's still on a, he's entering year 3. Year 3 is kind of the year that no matter if you're drafted as a sure thing or you're drafted as a project, that's where you're expected to start turning some things around. And for me, only because you have to start paying a guy. Going into year 4, you got to figure out restricted free agency, stuff like that. But for me, it's about, is he going to get in and do the work? If he's going in and doing the work, it's going to show. And that's the one thing that you hear about that guy is like, sometimes you wonder if the commitment is going to be there. And that's just youth.
That's what I heard last year, though. Like when we had the Pistons created their own bubble, like what I heard was Sekou was putting in the work, that he was the guy showing out. And then the regular season starts and it's just nothing to be seen.
Have you not heard of spring training, OTAs?
Yeah.
Like this is those movies. You know what I mean? Everybody looks good until the lights come on. Because who's he playing against in practice? That he was probably getting buckets on.
Right.
And then you step up for the regular season if he's playing. I mean, I think he was probably practicing against Blake Griffin.
You hear that, Sean McVay? It doesn't matter what they're doing in practice.
Oh, my.
Got to do it in the games.
Are you
do it in the games.
Are you mourning over Matthew Stafford?
No, I'm not mourning over him, but the stroke fest that is going on in L.A. right now for somebody who was here 12 years and didn't get us a playoff win is just blowing my mind. It's like, of course he looks good in practice. Like you said, you're supposed to look good in practice.
It's easy to call someone a bad mother effer,
Right.
because he's a new quarterback and all the media is on him.
And he's throwing on the DB that you drafted in the 5th round. You know, like, it's going to be a little bit different.
You guys are brutal, man.
I love Stafford, best quarterback the Lions ever had, but at the same time, that doesn't mean anything.
How high is that bar?
Right, exactly.
Now, Vinny, I want to get to you on this. With the way that Troy Weaver is building these Pistons, how far along do you think they are from getting back to the playoffs?
To the playoffs?
Yeah.
Like a playoff berth?
Playoff berth.
I mean, Stan Van Gundy got them to the playoffs. That's, once again, that ain't a high bar to have. But
especially in the East, you could do it.
I mean,
I
think the East is getting a lot better. I mean, the Atlanta Hawks, we didn't see them coming at all.
No, 5th seed.
You know what I mean? Not even just that. Their best player is my height.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's a hard thing to do in a game that's full of giants. So if they get this pick right and Cade Cunningham or Jalen Green comes in pro ready, you could be a year away, because I don't think rebuilds are 5 years anymore. The NBA operates in 2-year cycles. You think of the NBA 2 years ago, Golden State was still rocking 2 years ago. LeBron James was playing with a bunch of babies with the Lakers before the whole Anthony Davis thing happened. Brooklyn wasn't Brooklyn. Philadelphia wasn't Philadelphia. And Milwaukee was on the come up. So you can't say, oh, in 5 years we're going to be good. Guys coming to the league ready to play. Like, these playoffs are full of young guys that are taking it to these old dudes.
And I love it.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you got to look at it and say, where's our young guy that's going to lead us into this sort of next sort of phase of NBA basketball? I don't think it should take 5 years. I think next year you should have not 21, 22,
Right.
I mean, but at the end of next season, you could be in the playoffs.
I mean, when we went over our potential starting 5 next year, if we take Cade, like, you know, you got Killian, you got Cade, you got, Sadiq Bey, you got Beef Stew, and then you got, our boy Jeremy Grant, the Olympian. That's a solid starting 5 and a young starting 5 that you could see growing in 1 to 2 years.
But here's the question. How many of those guys project as a top half player at their position? Because you look at your guy, you're like, well, this guy can do all these different things.
Right.
And they were playing with house money this year, right?
Right.
We didn't expect anything from them. It was in the middle of a pandemic. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't playing in front of pressure. The rookie year was kind of like, simulated. It was kind of like playing NBA Live or something like that. Well, or 2K, I guess. Now, as I'm aging myself,
NBA
right?
Jam with the big head.
Yeah. I'm aging myself, but no. If you're looking at it and saying, I believe you have to have 2 players that project in the top half of their position before you can even think about going into the playoffs. And all those young guys have questions. Jeremy Grant's the only guy you can say, all right, maybe he's top 15, 3-4 in the league.
Yeah, he's the one guy I would say. And, Bey has a chance. He obviously proved he's capable, but he isn't there yet.
I love him.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be excellent.
Anytime you set that rookie record for 3-pointers, beating Steph Curry and those boys, you got some potential.
And he's mean. Like,
nice.
He's mean. Like, he don't take, I'm not going to be cursing on here.
You can curse. You're fine,
yeah,
man.
I can. but that's a mean some. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like dudes that play with a little bit of edge, a little bit of grit. I love that about him because he's so young, but he's not taking any shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So to me, that's here to play here.
Right.
That's necessary.
That's
man.
when we've been the most successful.
And that's really what I appreciate the most about the Pistons, really allowing that rookie class to go out there and learn and just develop on their own, because I guarantee you if we didn't let them just play like that, all these rookies would not be the way that they are.
I mean, shit, can you imagine another year of Blake Griffin playing and you're still trying to just barely make the playoffs?
Oh, God.
Can you imagine that? You went through the pain 1 year.
Ugh.
You got some building blocks. You tanked I guess there's a right way to tank. You tanked the right way, and then you got lottery luck on you. You know what I mean?
Oh, thank you, Blake, for leaving.
Now, Now, what do you think about everybody? There are some people out there already saying, don't need to draft Cade. We already got a point guard in Killian Hayes. What do you think about those people? Can we let's just go ahead and knock it out right now. The people are out there. Some of them are in the chats. See?
You take the best player available. Like if you got me and you can draft Stephen A. Smith, you take Stephen A. Smith. You know what I mean? Like that's just you can have a star, not that type of thing. You can have a big shot, but if you got a chance to take a franchise changer, you figure out the rest later. And in today's game, you have so many ball handlers. The name of the game today is, can you get your shot?
Right.
And if Killian develops and can project, if he can fix that, I don't think you throw him away just because you got a new shiny, object. You can play those two off of each other. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I like the way Killian progressed this year. At the beginning of the season, he looked fucking lost, but by the end of the season, he was playing big. He was controlling the tempo, and you could tell some of those passes he were making, nobody else in the league is making those.
He's got a great eye. Like the thing for me with point guards, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with Michigan State's movies. Like they had a player, Denzel Valentine, a few years ago. Denzel had the best court vision. But it would be like a twitch from when he saw the play to when he made the play. And that hole, that window is so minute that if you take a split second, that hole closes up and it's a turnover. Killian can see the play, make it without, like, very fluidly. You know what I mean? I don't think you throw that away. You give him a chance to figure out. He got to figure out that jump shot. You got to figure out, make sure that hip is right. But as far as everything else, like, I think you can let him grow and develop because what's the incentive to throw him away this year? Where's the pressure to be better than what you were last year? No matter who you get, you just want your draft pick to be a really good player in year one. That doesn't mean you got to win now. That just means, hey, let's figure this out.
Right. Well, man, we could do this all day. Honestly, I could have this conversation all day. I love the way you speak, and I love the way your insight for this. So thank you very much for stopping by the studio today. Corey was super jacked that you were able and being for at first we thought you were just gonna call in. He's like, no, man, he asked for the address. He's coming in. I love that.
No, he actually, because I don't live technically far from here. So he was like, why don't you come to the studio? I'm like, where is it? And he told me. I was like, oh, okay, well, this is cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Vincent, are you born and raised here in Detroit?
Yes.
That's awesome.
I'm an East Sider. Grew up on the actual East Side of Detroit. Like, I wish I could say I grew up in the suburbs.
No, you don't.
That wasn't exactly how I was kicking.
Made you who you are, right? That's it.
Who you got tonight?
Man, I want to see it. Look, I make my picks based off of where I want to go for the finals because I'm leaving for Atlanta this weekend. So Phoenix,
Detroit 2.0 right there.
Man, no, that's like on steroids because it wasn't COVID there. Like they just ignored COVID in Atlanta. We at least acted like it existed here for a few months.
I'm not joking. People in Atlanta, I feel like there was more Detroiters in Atlanta than they were in Detroit.
Yeah, if there was a time that you need to get away and do something, and you want to get on a plane or take an 8-hour car ride, all right, cool. You know what I mean? But as far as tonight. As far as tonight, I'm hoping the Clippers win. I'll say that. I hope the Clippers win.
Yeah, you don't want to be in Phoenix in July, man. This is hot as hell there.
It's going to be hot regardless. Yeah. I got friends in Phoenix, though, so I'm going to have a good time regardless.
Yeah,
or
my family's
Scottsdale,
out
not
there.
Phoenix.
My family's out there. Phoenix in July and August. It's just like, nah, I'm good. It's like asking them to come here in January.
I'm dark. I can't get any darker. You know what I mean? So I think I'll be all right. You know, once I get down and throw on some sunscreen, we're allowed to do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to? Why wouldn't you be allowed to?
No, I'm just making sure. Just, you know, get my skin program and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Go there, maybe take up golf or something like that during an off day. But I think Phoenix is going to win that series. But I think the Clippers win tonight.
Awesome. Well, Vincent Goodwill from Yahoo Sports, thank you for joining us this morning
appreciate
and sharing
you guys.
your insight.
Appreciate it,
Corey, thank you for setting it up.
Man, great stuff there by Vincent Goodwill, and thank you guys for tuning in. It is the Morning Woodward Show on the Woodward Sports Network. We're doing a best of for the holiday. We just talked to Vincent Goodwill, and we like to have a little fun in the studio, don't we, Joey?
Man, we like to have too much fun, honestly. Sometimes Birmingham even got to call the city on us.
One thing that we always talk about, I like the wave, but I hate the guy who started the wave, and in this clip, I was the guy who started the wave. So
you hate on the wave in this clip. I get so mad at you for it.
Well, let's see what the wave looks like with the Morning Woodward Show.
Come on, hit a wave real quick on the show.
Corey,
Come on, Corey.
Corey
got started.
No, Fish, you got to start it. Fish is the starter, and it's going to go from Corey to me to Joey.
I hate the wave, too.
Yeah. We'll start this one, Fish.
Why?
Because we're trying to have some fun on the show.
Way. That's my wave.
No, you got to be like, come on, Corey. You ready to do it?
I won't do the wave, but I will trash talk people.
Okay. Start the wave, Fish.
Wave. That's my wave. I'm not
I'll
a fan
kick it
of the
off.
wave.
I'll kick it off.
All right.
Wave.
Somebody's got to be the bad guy.
Wait,
Three. Ready?
Yeah! Do it again. We can do it better this time.
Yeah, and Ben, switch the cameras all the way around.
Why didn't you do it, you a-hole? Next time you see all of us doing it.
There's the one guy that just sits there all the time. What did you
That's
just do,
me.
Fish?
That's what people do in England when they miss a shot.
What do they do?
Wave.
That looked like something else, but you know.
No, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be.
It's the wankers.
Yeah.
The wank. Wank yourself.
That's the best part in soccer is because they have the teams, the crowd separated from away fans, home fans. Because if you try to, conjoin them like they do in America, you're gonna get your ass beat. So if you sit by the away, it's like me to these guys.
It's like Fortson versus Crestwood game right
you
there.
guys are the away fans. I hate you. I'm gonna do anything I can to piss you off.
Well, I appreciate you, Fish. Just want to let you know that.
I mean, we like to have fun, right? Everybody do the wave. Go ahead, Joey.
Hey, honestly, you're going to be that dude that's... Okay, stop, man.
Yeah, who's going to stop the wave?
Sons in 4 dude about to come here and whoop your ass.
Sons in 4. So, yeah, we like to have fun on the Morning Woodward Show, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. We are doing our best of for the holiday, and hopefully you enjoyed your 4th of July, and hopefully your work gave this day off to you, too. Man. It's 4th of July. Observe.
Hey, to that one person watching us right now at work, have fun.
Art. Thanks, Art, for being the man that works around the clock here at the Woodward Sports Network. And speaking of Art, Conor McGregor fight is happening at Imagine Theaters on July 10th.
This is the week.
Yeah, we're going to be hosting a watch party, so make sure you get your tickets to that and come have fun with us and watch the good UFC fight with Art.
Best part is you go to Imagine Theaters, the website, and get these tickets. Only $25. Like, it might seem a lot at first, but then you're like, dude, these pay-per-views are not cheap.
Yeah, they're like $100 anyway. So grab your friend and come hang out with us at Imagine Theater on July 10th and see Art go crazy as he watches a fight. Speaking of fight, blacktop fight, 3-on-3 basketball, Pistons legends. Joey,
it's tough.
Who would
man.
you take?
You got to go with Ben Wallace.
Okay,
you always got to go with Ben Wallace. But this one, like, the more you dive deep, and you're like, man, well, Grant Hill at his prime.
Yeah.
There's nothing to mess with.
So we went blue team versus red team. We want to know who you would take. Drop it in the chat as you're watching this next part. Best of the Morning Woodward Show, 3-on-3 Detroit style.
All right, guys, this went up over our social media over the weekend, and I thought it was a great question. It made me really think hard about who I would take in this matchup. So imagine 3-on-3, blacktop style, street ball. Who are you taking from these former Pistons? And we're going to put them on the screen right now, and we can walk you through Team A or Team B or Team Red or Team Blue. So it's really up to you, and I want to hear you and see what you think about this in the chat right now. You got that picture, Alex? Throw it on up there so we can walk people through this. So here you go.
This one had me thinking.
Blue
so
team,
hard.
Isaiah Thomas, Ben Wallace, Rip Hamilton, versus the red team, Chauncey Billups, Billy Slambeers, and of course, Grant Hill. Grant Hill, the only one representing the turquoise in this, but there we go. These are your teams. So who are you taking? Are you taking the blue team or are you taking the red team?
Oh, this is easy for me.
Okay.
I'm taking the blue team.
Defense wins championships, baby.
This is more than defense wins championships. I mean, you got Isaiah Thomas, who is arguably the second greatest point guard of all time. Some people like to put Steph up in that category right now. Won't argue that either. Steph is definitely making the case for himself. But Isaiah right there, I think when you look at both of these teams, even though Ben Wallace would be his teammate, there is not a competitor out of all of those players harder than Isaiah Thomas. We've seen what he's done on a broken ankle. We've seen what he's done after getting knocked out by Karl Malone. He has some of the greatest look, you're seeing right there. He has some of the greatest handles we've ever seen. Then you got Ben Wallace, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. I think that just says enough right there to go from being undrafted to the Hall of Fame. What can you say? And then you got the mid-range assassin in Rip Hamilton. Pull-up game anywhere. I just love it. So, I'm no disrespect to Chauncey Billups. Chauncey Billups was great for the Pistons. Pistons legend. I don't think he's going to be able to – I don't think he want that smoke with Zeke. Bill Laimbeer versus
Ben
Wallace would be very interesting, but Ben got both of those guys. First off, both of them got some hands, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with Ben on this one. And then when it comes down to Rip versus Grant Hill, okay, I'm not gonna be crazy. I'm gonna take Grant. I'm gonna take Prime Grant over anybody. But I think those two, when you got pretty much you got two players on one team that I think are gonna outweigh the other two players on that red team.
Joey,
I think it's
who do you
just,
got, blue or red?
I mean, you only got 3 people, 3-on-3, and having that one mismatch of Rip Hamilton and Grant Hill.
And don't forget street ball, too.
That's it.
That goes into this.
So that's where you're like, all right, Ben Wallace got them street skills.
Oh, I don't know, man.
But the thing about it, I mean, Grant Hill, Rip Hamilton, I look at that as a big mismatch. So, truthfully, man, I think I'm going red.
You're going red? I'm also going red.
Are you?
I think the red
Laimbeer,
team.
you like Laimbeer.
First of all, I love Billy Laimbeer. And I look at red and I just see more offense. And that's where I think, obviously the blue team does have defense with Zeke and Ben Wallace. But the matchups you said, I would cross these matchups. I would have Chauncey Billups guarding Rip. I wouldn't put him on Isaiah. I would put the longer defender in Grant Hill on Isaiah, disrupt him with the length. And then Laimbeer and Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace, much better off-ball defender, much better rebounder, but can't score.
Yeah.
So you're talking only 2 players that can score. Rip doesn't really get his own shot. So you need to get Rip coming off screens, really, to get him involved in the game. All these guys can score on the bottom here and on the red team. Chauncey can put up buckets whenever he needs to. Laimbeer can stretch the defense, pull Ben Wallace away from the basket, so he's no longer a factor. And then Grant Hill's just Grant Hill. We're talking healthy Grant Hill, too. We're not talking Suns Grant Hill. We're talking in Pistons uniform Grant Hill.
Yeah.
So that's why I got the red team. I mean, like, the red team to me just matches up better with the blue team.
Yeah, but I'm going to stick to my guns on this one. I don't think there is a competitor out there that wants that smoke with Zeke. I just think that
Bill Laimbeer wants that smoke with Zeke. Didn't they throw punches in the locker room several times?
And you know what? Hey, I still think that when it comes down to it, you're gonna have Ben Wallace right there throwing them punches right back right alongside Zeke. But
see, I think for me, if you were gonna build a team around 3 of them, I'm going blue team. But when you're talking about street blacktop 3-on-3, the scoring ability, Ben Wallace ain't gonna be the one to score like that.
See, Nick gets it. Nobody can deal with Laimbeer. Nobody can. You got to give it to Zeke. Funky Lion says Zeke. We got blue all day from Vinny. Blue team from Mitch. Lots of people taking the blue team on this. I'm shocked. Wow, Matt with the blue team.
I mean, comments on social media were pretty much favored for the blue as well.
Zeke and Rip are eaten. See, I just don't see it that way, man. Like, obviously, both these teams are great, and they're some of my all-time favorite players. Just if I'm going to matchup-wise, matchup to matchup, I like the red team.
I mean, you're pulling hairs when you really want to go down to the nitty-gritty. Both of them are great teams.
Become Legendary gets it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, got Zeke right there. I think Zeke will be able to create some buckets for Rip out there. And then again, still, even though Rip off the dribble, he can still pull up and hit a mid-range. So. You know what? I'm not too worried about it. Grant's defense is respectable. It's not, nothing to write home about, but it's respectable.
I like his length. That's the only thing that I could put him, because obviously I think if you match up Zeke and Chauncey one-on-one, Zeke's just too fast.
Yeah.
Just too fast. Grant Hill can at least play off the ball a little bit and disrupt them, little Tayshaun Prince-esque with those long arms. But, yeah, either way, I thought this was such a great post on our social media, and it literally got me thinking. And at first, I was back and forth, but once I really broke it down, and I'm thinking of Bill Laimbeer draining some three-pointers and Ben Wallace just out of the paint. If Ben Wallace is out of the paint, this is no contest. No contest. Here's some. Oh, there he is. Good old Ben Wallace highlights.
I just think that Ben is just going to be such a disruptor on defense that he would be able to neutralize Laimbeer. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
because I've seen this man neutralize Shaq. I've seen him neutralize Oh, you know what? Oh, I want to say that's blasphemous. I was about to say Duncan. Let me pull it back on that.
What were you about
one.
to say?
I was about to say Duncan, but let me pull it back on that one.
I mean, he did well against Tim
He
Duncan.
did. He did all right. He did as well as anybody could do against
Yeah,
Tim
they
Duncan.
normally played him off the ball against
Yeah.
Tim Duncan, so he could be the help side defender.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I thought that was good strategy because what was he guarding? Nazi Mohammed after David Robinson?
Nazir Muhammad.
Yeah, remember when Nazi was a Piston too?
No, I was hoping you didn't say it.
Nazi Mohammed was a Piston. The speed from Zeke and Rip. Yeah, Steven, I get it. Let's see. Patty
Dude,
Grimes
Rip
says
would go
red
off,
team.
I think, too, though.
You think so?
Yeah, Rip would go off.
Yeah, it's a great matchup. So, was it Andrew Jonah who came up with this?
I think it was Andrew.
Okay, and we're going to have him on later on this week to go over his first mock draft for the NBA, because now that the Pistons have the number 1 overall pick, mock drafts have been flying around Woodward Sports. And it's going to be interesting to see where everybody lands this year. But I just wanted to touch on this, go over it, because I thought it was a great conversation. We got plenty of response on our Twitter. And so I want to know, who you thinking, blue team or red team? Unfortunately, we'll never be able to get to see this play out. But how fun would it be to go down to any basketball court in Detroit and watch these guys play? Or, let's have it at Rutgers. There you go. Go to Rutgers and watch these two teams play 3-on-3. Man, I listen, I'm still taking my team in that. I know everybody didn't agree with me, but I'm still taking that team.
Yeah, I go back and forth, and then I'm like, dang it, man. And then I ended up rolling with my boy.
Yeah.
Grant Hill, you got to.
It's tough. It's tough, man. That was a great question, and I'm glad we had that debate, which we do here, Debate Detroit Sports, on the Morning Woodward Show on the Woodward Sports Network. And thank you guys for watching us this morning. Hope you're enjoying your holiday. I'm on vacation for the rest of the week, so, yeah, we just wanted to put together a little best stuff
Easy,
for
not
you.
for the rest of the week.
Yeah, I'll be back Thursday.
Yeah.
But that really doesn't count.
You only get 2 more days.
Yeah, only 2-day work week. I'll take that every week, baby. Fantasy football is nearing in. I mean, we're less than 80 days away from NFL kickoff. We're like 25 days away from mini camp starting. And I dive deep into my Dynasty fantasy football. I had my draft. The guy I said wouldn't be there was there for me, Joey.
I can't believe you got this shitty quarterback.
Yeah, it's going to be so awful to have Trevor Lawrence for the next 5 years in my Dynasty league.
I'm going to be honest. Are you fully confident that this is going to be a great quarterback for you?
Yes. It's like when Andrew Luck came out, you knew he was going to be that dude.
Yeah.
I have the same feeling about Trevor Lawrence. And if I'm wrong, that means me and 99.99999% of people were too. And I'm
forgot
okay
one
with
more
it.
9. It's that big of a percentage.
Yeah, you're the only doubter, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just seeing him in college, like, I get it.
Right.
But I don't see it. I mean, the one that I'm big on is I think Joe Burrow is going to really have a big change in his career, especially Jamar Chase. He's going to be the one that there's a lot of eyes on right now. And I know a lot of people have been big on Waddle, and I get it. The dude's so fast, but injuries, man, you got to really be careful with Waddle. So I really think Jamar Chase is going to be a great pick. Who got him in your league?
The second pick, I believe that was DPO got him. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So he went before Pitts.
He did go before Pitts, and here is my mock fantasy football draft rookie edition. So this is for dynasty leagues and deep leagues like that. Take a look at who I got number 1. Why the hell not do the top 10 rookies in fantasy football this year in a PPR league? So that's my list.
Boy. I'm excited, man. This is my first real dive deep into this because I don't ever do this.
Yeah, I love it. And this is what gets me familiar with all the rookies. Like, when I first got into this league and these guys were naming, like, really bench players and third stringers and practice squad guys, I was like, man, how do these guys know everybody? Now I realize, because you research them every year. Like, I could go about 50 deep on skill positions and where they're playing, how their season's going to look, and stuff like that. But let's stick with the top 10. And number 10 is where I'm coincidentally picking tonight. I'm hoping to land a quarterback. I don't think the quarterback I'm going to want is going to be there. But number 10 on my list that you should draft if you're doing a rookie fantasy football draft, Rashad Bateman, wide receiver, Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson needed a number 1. Ravens went out, spent a first-round pick, got him a number 1. Now, is that going to translate into, let's say, Jefferson numbers from last year? Probably not, just because the Ravens don't have that type of offense. But if I'm picking at number 10 and he's still available, I'm taking Bateman. Look at him here on this go route. He was a beast, man, in college,
explosive.
man. Yeah, thick dude. He was listed at 6'2" in college. At the combine, he listed at 6 foot. So his play made him appear bigger than he was.
I mean, you know what? I like that camera trick they did right there. Sorry for the videographer because when you shoot up, you make a player look bigger than what he really is, and he looked like a giant right there.
All right, I see what you're doing, Corey. So that's who I got at number 10. Number 9 on my list. This is where you can kind of pick and choose. I went back and forth because I wanted to put a quarterback here, and it's either between Justin Fields or Trey Lance. I'm going with Trey Lance. He's not going to be the guy that starts out your season as a powerhouse quarterback because Garoppolo is probably going to get the first couple of games and get those snaps. But by end of the season, he's going to be a top 10 fantasy quarterback.
I can definitely see that with the way that Kyle Shanahan is going to go ahead and groom this guy and put him in a position to win. You're right. He may not start out the season like that because it's going to probably be Jimmy G in the driver's seat. But come into the season, I expect Trey Lance to be somewhere in that top rookie conversation. So, yeah, smart pick.
Well, I'm trying not to give away too much of my draft strategy tonight in case my boys are watching. But
taking notes.
Hey, hold up. That's why I haven't really gone deep into this.
Who's in this league? I'm about to send this to all of them right now.
No, don't do it.
All right, let me shut up. Let me say less.
Hey, all I know is I hope that if you have a quarterback option and you got Trey Lance and Justin Fields on the board, you take Justin Fields.
Really?
You got to, man.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's got more potential with where he's at because I feel like we're going to see Justin Fields sooner.
Yeah, I just don't like that Matt Nagy offense. It hasn't proven to put a winning quarterback on the field in any type of situation. And the way Kyle Shanahan is most likely going to use Trey Lance as a running back as well in that zone scheme, I just feel like fantasy-wise,
fantasy points.
That's what you got to remember. This is all about fantasy
I'm talking about
points.
Quarterback.
Yeah,
you're talking fantasy.
I'm talking fantasy. I don't give a damn if they win a game. I give a damn if they put up 500 yards and 200 on the ground. What's up, Fish?
Who does Justin Fields play on?
He plays for the Bears, and we hate the Bears.
And who is he going to play twice?
The Lions.
Exactly.
And we love the Lions.
And
what
you know
Justin
October
Fields
3rd,
going
when the Lions play him, he's going to go off.
Yep. I said that, and you guys, oh, Fish, you're stupid. He's
Who
not
called
gonna
you
go.
stupid,
Ain't nobody say that.
You guys were telling me that
Listen, if Mitch
Justin
Trubisky
Fields
can own us, Justin Fields is very capable of owning us. I would never call you stupid for that.
Yeah, you guys were laughing when they picked Andy Dalton on the Bears, and you guys were laughing when they picked Justin Fields.
I'm more concerned about Justin Fields than I have ever been about Andy Dalton in my entire fucking life.
We were scared.
I ain't
scared.
I ain't laughing about Justin Fields. When they drafted Justin Fields, I said, fuck.
Yeah. Number 8 on this list, the quarterback that will be starting from day one, and so far, he's recovering from a shoulder injury, but he's looked pretty damn good in mini camps and training camps from what I've watched. Trevor Lawrence, he should be the first quarterback off the board in a rookie draft. If you're in a super flex, he's clearly the number 1 overall, but this is for PPR only. This is not a super flex league, so I have him at number 8. And if he falls to 8, 2 picks before me, I'm going to be so bitter, man, because this is who I really want on my squad.
So what do you go? You go more for like the running backs and receivers.
Our league, every league's a little bit different. Our league, running backs are a premium, and like you'll see in the rookie drafts, running backs will go a lot higher than they should normally. But they also we get them for 5 years, so the attrition on a running back is pretty much in 5 years their career's over.
Yeah.
So you need to lock them up for the entirety of their rookie deal. Wide receivers really don't typically hit their stride till like year 2 or year 3, so you have some more time, and then you got to re-up them on when you can get them as a free agent. So there's a little bit of strategy in drafting only running backs in our league for that reason. Speaking of wide receivers, number 7 on this list, I know a lot of people wanted him here in Detroit. Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, University, Miami, Miami Dolphins.
I think he's going to end up being the best wide receiver out the draft this year.
He definitely has a chance because of the position that he's fallen in. And, honestly, this year's draft, not great for skill players. I got to be honest. And here he is with one of his crazy punt returns.
Outside of the first few, there really wasn't much.
Right? No,
this was a quarterback-heavy year.
Yeah, like last year you had Jerry Jeudy, you had Jefferson, you had Taylor, you had CEH, you had all these big names coming out and, contributing right away. I don't know if we're going to get that a ton out of guys this year, but Jalen Waddle being reunited with Tua not really having many options at wide receiver. Like Devontae Parker isn't that dude. So I think Waddle's going to get his shine.
Oh, yeah, and also, too, if Waddle comes in there fully healthy, he has speed that is scary.
Yes.
I think that's going to make a lot of defenders shy this year, and whoever picks up Waddle in your league, they're going to be very pleased.
Yep, I think so too. Number 6, I loved this guy, and I actually love the other guy that he played with too, Michael Carter at North Carolina. Javonte Williams. He got drafted to Denver. Denver went super wide receiver heavy last year, and this year they shored up the running back position. Javonte Williams, if you watch him run at North Carolina, just violent and just aggressive and just mean. I love this guy. Look at, first of all, great read there. Then he gets around the outside, 1 tackle, 2 tackles. Fuck your face. Get out of my way. And he just keeps running. Like, this guy, this is what I look for when I'm doing my scouting on these rookies. Like, not only do they know how to read the hole, but do they have that speed to where a guy's taking an angle and the guy misses his angle. That's when I know he's ready for the NFL.
Javonte Williams looks like he has a high motor, and that is somebody that you're going to really need in this type of league. Man, I wish I would have gotten into this.
It's crazy, like, because I mean that's a 2nd-round pick right there, and you got him that high.
Yeah,
so that's crazy.
That is the
you
got
to dive deep into this.
Well, last year CEH was the 32 number overall pick in the entire NFL, but he was number 1. He went number 1 overall in our league. I got Taylor at number 2 last year, and he was a 2nd-round pick going number 2 overall. So yeah. What they're drafted as doesn't really translate to what they're going to be fantasy-wise.
Yeah.
There's a couple cases coming up like that,
like,
too.
what would you say, like, if you were to look at your draft from last year, the first, how many you got, 13?
12 players.
12. The first 12, how many of them actually were good? Success?
I'd say like 5 or 6 from last year.
Wow, that's still pretty impressive.
And I was able to steal Antonio Gibson in the 2nd round last year.
Scoop.
So, yeah, doing my research. Thank you, Memphis, for having an awesome offense. Let's move on to number 5, Devontae Smith, wide receiver, Philadelphia. He's brought there strictly to take the roof off this thing, and hopefully Jalen Hurts can throw the ball far enough to get it out there to Devontae Smith. That's my only concern. Honestly, he's going to be their number 1. They took Rager last year. Rager was supposed to have a big year, supposed to be the guy that blew the top off the defense. Smith is a much faster player. I like him in that offense. I just don't love the quarterback in that offense right now.
Well, hey, you talked about Tua being reunited with Waddle. Hurts is reunited with another one of his guys. So hopefully they're able to go ahead and build some rapport early off the bat. If so, might not be a bad pick drafting Devontae Smith there. Me personally, I'm not that real high on him just in general, but still a talent nonetheless.
Yeah, definitely.
It's crazy how, like, Waddle's getting all the hype.
Because I think if Waddle
the lead receiver there was Devontae Smith, who was the Heisman Trophy winner.
Because I think if Waddle didn't get hurt,
he was hurt,
Waddle would have been the Heisman Trophy winner.
That's my scare, though. That's my scare. Everybody all hype about Waddle. Like, yes, I think he's explosive. He's fast as hell. But, man, that injury, I don't know about that.
Yeah, best ability is availability, and if you don't have it, you are in trouble. Number 4 on this list, and in the top 4, this is where I really had a rough time because these guys could really be all over the place depending on need for your team. But this guy is a role that could fill anywhere. Kyle Pitts, tight end, obviously the Atlanta Falcons. They've let go of Julio Jones, so he's going to be a main target along with Calvin Ridley. I think Ridley's going to have the really breakout year, but Kyle Pitts is definitely in the mix to be an immediate impact at tight end. Like, he's going to be at least a top 10 tight end this year coming into the league. So if your team's lacking a tight end, I have George Kittle, so I'm not pursuing this guy, but I wouldn't mind starting 2 tight ends either if I had Kyle Pitts.
You know what? A lot of people dog out Shannon Sharp for some of his opinions, and rightfully so, but one thing you can say about Shannon Sharp, he knows tight ends. He's on the Hall of Fame for being one. And he said that Kyle Pitts is a generational talent at the tight end position, and he's going to be a problem for the next decade to come. So on that aspect, I'm going to lean with Shannon. Kyle Pitts about to be a problem in Atlanta.
And that's the thing, is he's going to be such a high target for this team. Like, he's going 1,000, 1,200 yards this year.
And, I mean, the great thing about him is you can play him on the tight end. You can play him on the outside. He can run the whole route tree. He can take the top off the defense, get 50-50 balls. He's almost like a tight end version of Megatron.
Yeah. That's exactly what he's supposed to be. He's not going to be the big blocker. He's going to be the split tight end. He's going to get a lot of the looks, and they may actually just play him on the route tree as a wide receiver too. So you're definitely going to get production out of Pitts no matter where you draft him. If you get him at number 4, I think you're getting a steal. But I have him number 4 here. And here, to your point, Joey, this guy, obviously, he's higher than the number 1 overall pick and on the same team. I'm talking Travis Etienne, running back, Jacksonville. Now, I know James Robinson had a good year last year. He went over 1,000 yards, undrafted rookie, but they would not have gone out and gotten Travis if they didn't think that he was going to be the lead role in this offense. And you watch this guy play. This is what I'm talking about. See, that guy has the angle? Nope, you do not have that angle. That's what I look for in my players transitioning from NCAA to the NFL. Can they make the guy miss? Can they make the guy understand that you need a better angle to pursue me? And when you get that at that level, you understand that they have the speed for the next.
That acceleration is scary.
Dude, it's crazy. And I'm looking forward to what Urban Meyer does in that offense. And, obviously they still have Laviska Shenault. They still have DJ Chark. And, of course, our boy Marvin Jones joined the squad in the offseason. Number 2 on this list, Jamar Chase. And this is where, if you need a wide receiver, this is your dude. He's going to step in and be the number 1 in Cincinnati right away. It's not going to be T. Higgins. It's not going to be Tyler Boyd. It is going to be Jamar Chase. And when you pair him with a Joe Burrow, get those two boys back together, it's just going to be fun. The only thing I'm worried about is Joe Burrow having enough time to throw him the damn ball.
And you know what? Whose fault is that? That's the Bengals' fault, because they could have had a Penei Sewell of their own. They honestly should have drafted Penei Sewell, but
they just wanted to reunite. That's all they kept saying. Reunite.
That's really what the whole first round was. Those quarterbacks being reunited with their throwing targets in college, which is kind of interesting with Hurts, Burrow, and Tua. But to your point, I don't know. Chase should have a good year, but if, hopefully Burrow's able to stand up straight.
That's the thing. If they can keep Burrow healthy, he's going to put up over 1,000 yards receiving, maybe like 8 touchdowns on the season in his rookie year, and that's a great look. Justin Jefferson, I envision a Justin Jefferson-esque rookie season for him.
Yeah, and I believe Joe Burrow's a better quarterback than who Justin Jefferson had throwing to him. So.
Yes, definitely. And number 1, who you should be drafting in your all-rookie PPR Dynasty Football Draft, another guy that got drafted in the 2nd round, but is going to be the starter probably he got drafted in the 1st round, my bad, late 1st round. Najee Harris. He is going to be the starting running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. James Conner is out. Benny Snell is Benny Snell. Anthony McFarland is their speed change of pace guy. Look at this guy's footwork though, man. And his calves are absolutely insane. And he's just a great teammate, too. So nothing but great things to say about Najee Harris. You put him in that Steelers offense, alleviate some pain off of Ben Roethlisberger, and hopefully they have a better run offense this entire season.
I mean, Ben Roethlisberger's washed. So I think they're gonna lean on this guy heavily. So, and I just look at this list. I'm looking at all the teams, looking at their quarterback. I mean, obviously, I'm still going to say Ben Roethlisberger is better than Drew Lock.
Right.
But with that being said, outside of that, the rest of them quarterbacks, I'm like, is Ben really better than them? No. So they're going to have to lean on a guy like Najee Harris, and that's a slam dunk, easy no brainer right there.
So pretty much what Stick's saying is, if you're an early pick in your fantasy draft, just go with somebody from the Clemson Tigers or go from someone in Alabama.
I mean,
that's it.
They got the best athletes.
It's really the Alabama Invitational when they talk about the national championship. Clemson has started to kind of creep in there to where you can say it was Clemson, Alabama. But, I mean, outside of that.
What pick do you have, by the way, Stick?
I have the 10th pick.
So you got 10th. So does that mean you're going with who you gave
Bateman
a hint
falls
to?
me, I'm thinking about Bateman, but I really want a running back there if I'm not getting my quarterback. So I'm thinking Michael Carter from the Jets. I'm hearing that he's going to start off as the number 1 running back there, like right away. They already produced the depth chart, and he's on top of it.
Yeah.
So that's what I look for, like immediate producers, especially at the number 10 pick. You're not getting one of the top 4 guys that you shouldn't miss on. So you kind of got to reach a little. There's also Kenneth Gainwell, who is playing for Philly, is a guy that I'm very interested in. He's out of Memphis. Reminds me a lot of Antonio Gibson. Like the reason Antonio Gibson only got 30 carries and 30 receptions his last year at Memphis was because of Gainwell. Gainwell can play ball, but he's backing up Miles Sanders. They just signed Kerryon Johnson, so he's got some issues to work through before he gets some shine in Philadelphia.
Hey, you look at Jamal Williams, man. He stepped up quickly when he came to Detroit.
Yeah.
From the looks of it.
Yeah. No, I love Jamal Williams here. So, yeah, that's my top 10 list of Dynasty rookies in your PPR league.
That's it, Joey. That was, and I still got the guy I didn't think I was going to get. There was no way Trevor Lawrence was going to be available at 10 when I was selecting, and oh my gosh, when he fell to me, I was so excited. But I will say this.
I know Jonah watched that video because Jonah's in my league, and I said Michael Carter is going to be that sleeper. Took him at 9 right in front of me.
Oh, hey, it worked.
It did work.
It left Trevor Lawrence on the board for you.
I was so happy Jonah didn't go quarterback because he very well could have. He has Tua and Deshaun Watson as his quarterbacks, and neither of those are guarantees at this point. So
you know what's funny is Jonah doesn't realize that was the worst pick in the world. You just wanted to tell him that to trick him, and he fell for it.
Gotcha. It's the best of the Morning Woodward Show. My name is Stick. This is Joey, and the biggest thing to happen over the past month, clearly the Pistons getting the #1 draft pick, first time since 1970. Bob Lanier was their pick then. We don't know who they're going to pick yet, but the reaction around the city. This was one of the most fun shows I think we've done as a morning show.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it was just crazy when things like that don't happen to Detroit.
Right.
When you're watching the NBA playoffs, and obviously Detroit Pistons are not in the playoffs, and all they're talking about is the Detroit Pistons getting that #1 pick. It honestly is such a feeling that's just like a sense of relief. You feel.
So if you want to see the reactions from all around the city, I'm talking Dwayne Casey, I'm talking Troy Weaver, I'm talking our draft party, I'm talking Comerica Park when they found out. We highlighted it all, put it in this next clip. This is Detroit celebrating getting the #1 overall pick in the 2021 NBA draft. Let's check it out. Last night, I'm sitting there, I'm watching our live draft party, and I'm also like, all right, maybe I should go live on my phone too.
Yeah.
You know, like I want to record my reaction. But then the Pistons get the top 4, and I'm like, all right, I don't want to jinx this. Like I don't want to start recording, and then it's just me being all pissed off. So I just sat there by myself and just watched this happen. And then the 4th pick was announced, and it wasn't the Pistons. The 3rd pick was announced. It wasn't the Pistons.
And then you
I'm
see
sitting
Ben,
there,
and then you see,
oh my God, we're like the next thing, and then here comes the envelope with the #2 pick, and you could see the logo before they announced it. Like that's what I was watching, and all of a sudden the Houston Rockets, and I'm just like, ah! Woo! I'm running around the house. Corey, I know you woke up your whole damn house, right?
I woke up my whole damn house, you know. Well, actually, I want to say woke up my whole house because my cousin was gone, so I woke up the block. But first off, I'm going to say this. It was an epic night, but screw Sling TV. Here's why I say that.
No.
I'm on the phone with my cousin watching it, and he's in Chicago. So, you know, he's from Detroit, so we're all talking about, you know, the lottery. This dude I'm watching it live, and he's still somehow 30 seconds ahead of me. So as he's screaming down on the draft, I'm like, what the? Hold on, let me turn your volume down.
We were just talking about that yesterday, too. Like when you're watching with somebody that's beating you on the delay.
Yeah, I turned his volume down. I'm like, then I was able to go ahead and get into the excitement, and
something like this, too. You can't miss that excitement, especially that moment. It only comes once in your lifetime, literally. And I'm just happy that Corey's prediction of Ben Wallace being there and then us being #3 did not come true.
Oh, I'm happy.
Man. Like, just overall, I was in here in the studio, and I just wanted to give a shout-out to Detroit Kool-Aid, Detroit Drew, who is the biggest legend, the way his reaction turned out with his Drew Wisers, which we're going to show here in a second, and Anthony, our boy who does Pistons Talk. I mean, these guys are just crushed it.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody that was watching on YouTube and Facebook and last night on Twitter as well. Like, this party was blowing up. I was scrolling through YouTube looking at other draft parties that they were having, and it was nothing like ours, man. And honestly, that's what you want. You want to capture these moments when we get these #1 picks, like when we drafted Sewell at 7. Having these moments on record are going to be so amazing for us, like when Woodward Sports is 5-10 years old, to be posting this Throwback Thursday. Remember when we got the #1 pick? And you can throw back to that video. But let's check out the reaction from pretty much around the entire city. First of all, this is how it all went down. This is the Pistons getting into the top 4. This was Detroit Drew's reaction to that.
Do it, man. That troll face, don't do it to him. You're laughing already.
Let's go!
Come on. That's what I'm talking about. Come on. Believe in Troy.
So that was us getting into the top 4. And then, of course, the reaction when the #1 overall pick fell to the, or didn't fall, just went to the Detroit Pistons. and this place started to go nuts. How crazy was it to be in here, Joey?
Oh my gosh, it was nuts. We all lost our voices and everything. Like, the only thing though, do you miss the ping pong ball style, or do you like this way?
I don't care. As long as we get the #1 pick, it could be ping pong balls, it could be carrier pigeon, it could be whatever. I don't give a damn. Just let us know we got that #1 pick. But here's a Woodward Sports reaction, which is going crazy right now on Twitter, and the Pistons put us on their Instagram story. So here was the in-house reaction last night if you weren't watching live.
Big Ben's jersey retired. The Magic Man, easy, bro. Let's go.
We did it.
Let's go.
I'm so happy I can't even feel my arms. That's what Detroit Drew had to say. And the best part is during that broadcast, Detroit Drew was like, "This is the best feeling of my life. Better than my baby." And I'm like, whoa, hold up.
Whoa.
He's about to have a baby in a month. So he did not mean those words. I just want.
To hell he didn't mean those words.
I just listen. I just
You're
want
going to have multiple kids. We haven't had a first-round draft pick since 1970, the #1 overall draft pick since 1970. You're going to have more kids. It's been since Bob Lanier since we had that first overall pick, man.
And yes, you want to know what? Have some interesting information about that. You know who was the Pistons? The third time in the Pistons history they've had the #1 overall pick. As you just mentioned, it's been 51 years since we had one. Bob Lanier. Do you know who the first one was?
Who was it?
1967, if I'm not mistaken. Jimmy Walker.
All right.
And for those who don't know, Jimmy Walker is the father to Jalen Rose.
What?
Very interesting.
Yeah, so there's some, all kind of come together a little bit.
Oh, yeah, and that dictated history because obviously then Jalen grew up in Detroit, and now, it's crazy how ripple effects like that happen over time, and you can see the effect of him having a baby here in Detroit. It turned out to be Jalen Rose, who has contributed so much to this city. And speaking of Jalen Rose, you thought our reaction was great last night? Here's what Jalen Rose was doing when he found out the Pistons got the #1 overall pick. Doing the Icewood.
Yeah, he pulled it off for a quick second.
And I love that because he's in Phoenix, and you see all the Suns fans tapping him up. Nobody's hating on the Detroit Pistons. Like, it was just good vibes all around last night.
And Jalen went even more when they went to halftime. Jalen went off even more. Detroit versus everybody, no fly zone, all of that. He was
he gave no fly zone.
Yeah, he shot out no
That's
fly
awesome.
zone. Yep.
The best part to it all, honestly, and this is, when is the actual NBA draft?
It's coming up on the 29th, I believe.
What I love so much about this is Pistons and Detroit are going to be the top of every media, and they can't do shit about it.
they have to mention us.
I'm watching the Suns clips play, and everything was Detroit highlighted, and it's something that we do not see ever. So seeing that was just so amazing, and it was funny. I'm looking at ESPN.com, and I'm looking on the website, and they're saying, where will Cade land? And they were doing everything to hide Detroit being #1. And I just don't get it. It pisses me off, but right now they can't do anything to stop this and hide this.
Who gives a damn what they think? We have the #1 pick. It goes through Detroit, so hey, they can sugarcoat it any kind of way they want to. When you talk about the #1 pick, you can't talk about it without mentioning the Detroit Pistons. They are in the driver's seat of this year's draft. Deal with it.
Yeah, Dwayne Casey, his reaction last night, he was doing kind of a private party with his friends and family, and I think he's a happy guy, too, as a coach. Let's check out what Dwayne Casey's reaction was to this.
One time. Battle of the Pistons.
You know what I love? His reaction reminds me of a reaction we just saw recently of Brad Holmes when they got Penei Sewell.
Yep.
That private party reaction reminds me of that locker room. Not with the old Matt Patricia, quiet, the little. Yeah. No, be excited, damn it. Hell yeah. You got the number 1 pick. Finally, yeah.
Dude, he did that little kid's jump.
Yeah.
Like when they say you get another hour at recess or something. Dude, he jumped up in the air. It was amazing to see that.
And I love that. Be excited, damn it. You got your team landed the number 1 pick. You're gonna draft the number 1 pick. You're gonna be coaching number 1 pick. Man, be excited. That's what Detroit wants to see. We want to see a winning product, of course, but we want to see our coaches, our GMs, our owners be excited about the process.
Right. No, you have to be, and that's part of the culture that you want to build. Like if you're not all in and you're not excited when your team gets those wins, like what are you doing here?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you got to focus on the details. You got to get the things right. That obviously what we need our coaches and what we need our upper management to do. But when you have wins like this, you got to be one of the boys. You have to.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. But, I got to shout out my friend Joshua Smith. He said something so great, and I want to quote him verbatim because he was talking about how the Pistons landed the number 1 overall pick. He said, I want to read you verbatim. My conspiracy theory, which I don't care if it's remotely true because it benefits my team, is that we got rewarded the pick because we actually tanked in a way that wasn't blatant or embarrassing.
Yeah, that's fine.
And if that what it was, I could give 2 Fs.
I mean, this was the most successful tank job in NBA history.
Oh, and sports history.
In sports.
Honestly, sports history.
Oh, man, I cannot wait for draft night, Joey.
Number 1, that's all we know.
Dude.
Like, normally you take a picture, you throw up the 1, but you bullshitting. Like, there ain't nothing in my life that makes me a number 1. But now, for at least a whole month, I can hold up that number 1 and be proud that we got that number 1 pick. Whether we trade it, whether we go Cade, I trust in Troy Weaver, and I know we're going to do the right thing.
And it's one of my favorite pictures of all time now, just Ben Wallace, big pimping like this, and just holding up the number 1.
Dude.
Like, that's it. That's it. So.
Ben Wallace, it's a mean-looking dude. When you see him, I'll never forget when it was him and, what's his name? Hakeem. When it was
those two left on the screen.
Them two, and then all of a sudden you see him go off the screen, and then it's just Ben Wallace standing there, and you realize, man, we really got that number 1 pick.
We're number 1. Well, thank you guys for being a part of the Best of show this morning. Hopefully, like we said, you have July 5th off because most places observe 4th of July on today, and that's what we're doing, celebrating our independence.
I love how you say it's the best of.
It is the best of.
That's the best we got, man. This show is bad.
Thanks for saying that, Joey. All right, we will be back on tomorrow from 8 to 10. Baligian and Bell have a best of coming up today. And
we got a special guest. We're going to kick you out.
I know.
Special guest tomorrow.
I can't wait. I'll give you a hint. Go blue. That's it. All right. Have a great 5th of July. Enjoy your day off if you have it. If you're working, I'm sorry, but hopefully we entertained you for at least 2 hours. We will see you tomorrow.